Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman,
Live, direct.
it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
Good morning, Cayman. Happiest of Mondays. Oh, I know it's not a good day for so many folks, but we're going to get to that a little bit later on in the program. It's been a rough weekend, I tell you what. Okay, well, we are going to have some guests on for this first segment, and then we've got lots to catch up on in terms of what transpired over the weekend. I'm hoping that you guys had a weekend. I know that unfortunately for a lot of people in the community, that was not the case. So we're going to definitely, definitely touch on that a little bit here this morning as well. Yeah, such a sad situation. But anyway, we will get to all of those things, I assure you. So we actually have Health City coming in today, and they'll schedule switch up on us this week. But listen, we love having them on the program. And the good news is they've got some positive things to share with us this morning. So who can complain about positive news, right? So we're going to get into all the amazing things that they are doing in the community, especially for our young people, because, we bat for the young people. So let's go ahead and invite Mr. Shamari Scott into the program. He is the Chief Business Officer for Health City Cayman Islands. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Sandy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you as well. I'm so happy to be on here to be discussing good news from a youth perspective, seeing as my Miami Dolphins did not show up again.
Oh, no.
We have started the season 0-2, but I still have faith we will turn it around, but definitely a horrible start to the season.
Oh, my goodness. What is going on with them?
We have a short week as well. We play on Thursday. So it's not looking good because it's against one of the strongest teams in the NFL. So if we go 0-3, I don't know, that coach might be gone. The coach might be gone. So,
wow. They do it. They're that rough with them, huh?
Well, he's been around for now 5 years, if I recall. 5 years, no playoff wins. And we have a pretty talented team. And the fact that we're losing so badly, as you know, it always starts with the head, and they probably don't get as much credit as they should when they win, but they definitely get a lot
when they
teams are losing, and that's why they get paid the millions of dollars. So
it's all about accountability, right? Your neck is on the chopping block for the whole team.
That's
when
right.
You're the leader.
Right.
So
totally. We've given them enough time, so now it's definitely time to see results, which we're not only seeing results, we're seeing a horrendous start to the season. So anyway, it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I was thinking about you quite a bit this weekend, actually, because I had to do a quick trip up to Miami, and I noticed a lot of dolphin paraphernalia all over the place. They had all sorts of they had all sorts of bags and games and outfits, and I was like, wow, they're gearing up for a season. Now I don't know if it's going to be a good season, but they definitely have all the goods that you could possibly need. So that was kind of cool to see. And I know I sent you a few items to give you some ideas, just in case you were in the market for anything. Looking out for you.
Additional to what I have, but no,
Yeah,
everything's
absolutely.
I might go seek some of those plates you were showing me, the dolphin
Oh,
plates.
right. When you have your
I'm
little
gonna seek
party.
some of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Win, lose, or draw. I feel like you should have those at your Super Bowl party.
Definitely.
No? Yeah.
So everybody's eating out of the dolphin plate. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Shamari, we're here today to talk about the Health City Explorers. Now, this is an amazing program that you guys have been running now for quite a number of years. And, the other day when I had my knee surgery, can you believe it's been a month already? It's been like over a month. Yeah, time flies.
You running up walls yet, or no? Not yet.
Quite, but I'm feeling pretty good. Yesterday, well, the whole weekend I did quite a bit of walking, and not too bad. So I'm gonna do this upcoming week my post-op with one of the surgical teams, because Dr. Nuranjan, I know, is off on some training seminar or something. He's having a very busy month, it seems. So I'll do a follow-up, but I think things are coming along nicely.
That's good.
And I was so pleased to see Melanie. Correct me if I got the name. Yes. She's the physiotherapist, and it was just so nice. It warms my heart. Caymanian young lady, hearing that nice Caymanian accent, that voice. And she was just so knowledgeable, helped me, kind of explain how to use the crutches and how to get going. And gave me good advice about, being very, very careful in the bathrooms, because there's such a fall risk within the first couple of days. And it was just amazing. So she's in my recap video, which I'm still going to be posting on social media for all of our listeners to kind of, follow my surgical journey. Because I can't remember the last time I had surgery. I don't really do surgeries often. Probably a C-section. But that's not really, you don't get put under for that.
Knock on wood, same here. I don't think I'm trying to recall, is even being an athlete when I was much younger, national team and otherwise, I was spared the usual child that, somebody always broke an arm or broke a leg or fell out of a tree, and I did all those things, but I was very lucky. So I must say I haven't had any surgery to date. So knock on wood, but
yeah, definitely good for you.
My wife has had 3, right? Because obviously more than that, but 3 with her pregnancies. So at times she looks at me and she's like, I can't believe you've never had to go through some of this. I'm lucky like that.
I know. Yeah. And let me just say this before we get on to talk about the Health City Explorers. It's so important, number one, for young Caymanians who think they might be interested in a medical career, or you have non-medical careers within Health City as well. It's quite a large organization, to really take advantage of what you have to offer. And these programs that we're going to be talking about today, the partnerships and so on, are so incredibly important. And so I want to encourage, young people to embrace it, because the programs are there for you to use. It's a great opportunity for you to learn. We're going to have Mr. Stuart Watt on, who's a former HCE intern, and hear his story and see exactly what he has been up to. But these are opportunities that you shouldn't pass up. I do feel like it's an amazing chance to get in a proper environment and see if this is something that could be a profession for you.
Definitely. And the whole purpose of Health City Explorers is to spark the minds of the youth towards careers in medicine. But one thing that we also speak about is that it gives young people the ability to, one, get into operating theaters, speak to physicians at the highest levels that persons in other countries don't actually have that access easily. So that if you then choose to go on and have a medical career, you have a leg up, as well as you kind of understand what's really there behind the curtain, versus once you start school. And one of the other areas that we're also proud of is at times there are persons who think that medicine may be the area for them, get in a room, and these are old enough individuals, see blood, realize that this probably isn't the right avenue for me, and actually navigate and go into another career. So they didn't actually waste time going through, and then when they got to the practical, saying, I've already spent so much money, my parents or the government, I don't want to change, but are not really motivated to move forward. So it helps both, right? It helps to spark interest from a young age so that people can then understand the pathways and make sure that they're getting the right subjects and the such that would lead them towards whether it's becoming a doctor, a nurse, or we have technical areas as well for persons that want to be technicians in certain areas. Then that's another path that you could take. And at times, if you're graduating high school and you then decide, I think I want to get into medicine, it's probably too late. So that's why this program actually stretches from primary school all the way up to high school and above and beyond, to make sure that we're catching the young people at every stage along the way, to spark interest from young, as well as to help people along their journey, the older young people as they may be. And you were talking about Melanie, and she's one of the first, and she's one of the shining stars that would have come to us at a young age, and would have been one of the first that would have gone through our CERF program, if I recall. And she had different iterations of interactions with us, and it reached the point where she even had to do her actual practical, and she came to us, and she was at UA and said, can I do it at Hell City? And we worked with UA and they approved it, and she was able to come and do it at Hell City, and she's kept in contact, and we hired her as our first Caymanian physiotherapist. And then she went off to another organization and worked there, even though that organization had a partnership with Hell City. So we wanted to make sure that she was taken care of. And then sure enough, just recently we've hired her back full time to be a part of Hell City's journey when it comes to physiotherapy. So we're proud of that scenario, and we always look forward to having teams of individuals over many years that will be Caymanian within Hell City. But you have to set the framework, you have to plant the seeds, you have to make sure that you're getting the back end of students going away and coming back qualified, and helping them then infuse within the system. And even if they don't come back to Hell City, if we can have more multi-generational Caymanians within the actual healthcare industry as a whole, then we as a country have won. And then obviously we as Hell City feel good that we've played our part, being a good corporate citizen as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you don't have to, a lot of people, when they think of sort of medical facilities, they think, oh, just doctors and nurses, but there's so many different areas, and there's so many support, like PTs, physical therapists, or let me tell you, very, very important to your recovery process. Even as you come out of surgery, trying to understand how to navigate. And the first couple of days are always the most challenging after any procedure. And they give you the confidence to be able to know what you need to do and how to navigate. And, Shamari, there's so many little things that I hadn't thought about that we sort of take it for granted with our movements after this procedure, that I was like, oh, wow, okay, the physiotherapist says I need to be careful with this. So I made sure I definitely listened to her advice. And we do have a young man, Stuart, who is going to be joining us. I'm going to go ahead and pull Stuart in. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm good. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Stuart, you're going to tell us a little bit today about your journey with Health City Cayman Islands and the Explorers program, and how, no doubt, it has impacted your life in a positive way. So can you go ahead and introduce yourself so that people know exactly who Stuart Watt is?
Absolutely, yes. So my name is Stuart Watt. I'm a physiotherapist. I'm based full-time here at Health City. So I'm employed by Align, and Align is responsible for covering physiotherapy services for the wards here at Health City. So I started just about a month ago. So I'm very fresh into the role, and I'm very excited
Okay.
for it. So I
Nice.
it's not my first experience with Health City this time around because I'm also a surf alumnus. So I did the surf program back in 2016.
Wow.
So
In 2016.
yes, exactly. Yeah. So long time ago now. Time flies.
Yeah, time's flying, Stuart, for all of us. But yeah, I mean, this is so amazing. Obviously, Health City has a number of professional partnerships with different, organizations on island, and this gives, I think them an opportunity to allow young people to go out and to have experience in different facilities, and then they can come back to the core family if they wish to do so. But which of the programs? Can you tell us a little bit about which of the programs you were actually involved in?
Of course, yeah. So I did the SURF program, which is the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
So that I did that while I was doing my undergraduate degree. So that was before I fully even decided on a career in healthcare yet at that point. So
Okay.
that was my first real exposure to what it would be like to work in healthcare. So we were like really thrown in, like fully immersed in the healthcare work. I was
Mhm.
actually placed in cardiology, which was great actually, and I learned so much about the cardiovascular system and
Mhm.
anatomy and physiology, and I use that knowledge to this day that I learned back in 2016. So
Yeah.
it
And
really
how
made
how
all the
old were you at the time, if I may ask?
ooh, now you're asking
You were
2016.
in that would have
That
been
would have
high school still?
no, that would have been so like second year of university. Yeah.
Oh, second year of
Yeah.
university. Okay. All right.
So very,
So
very
you
young adult.
yeah,
back
so you
in
had
those
started your university career. And at
days.
that point you were thinking medicine, but had you had any thoughts of what specifically you wanted to do?
So I was actually still between like a career in healthcare and doing like environmental science and becoming like an environmental
Mm,
scientist. So I
okay.
was still not even completely set on healthcare. And I think it was
Yeah.
after the surf program that I really decided that that's what I wanted to do for sure was to be in healthcare. I was able to
Oh, wow.
actually work with people and see like the impact that you can have on their lives. And I was sold.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
fantastic.
and Sandy, that's so this is like living testament. So it's one thing that I've always found is especially in business and otherwise, and when you have
Mhm.
strategic planning and you sit and you develop the greatest of plans and you have all the theories,
Mhm.
it's when you actually put it into practice. And yes, at times you need to pivot to achieve your goal if things aren't going as well as possible, but you always, stay the course for the most part. And
Mhm.
seeing someone like Stuart here, that
Mhm.
exactly what we thought would occur by us investing time, physician
Mhm.
time, as well as the money to have actual resources dedicated to education, developing the videos, developing the pathways, and then to have a young person like Stuart come through the program. And now it's many years later. So we're what, 9 years later, almost a decade
Mhm.
later. You can
Mhm.
hear Stuart saying, I was thinking about it, but that program that I went through then solidified why it's important to the Cayman Islands, why
Mhm.
it's important to him, and how he can impact and make a difference in lives. And that's why you now see Stuart sitting in front of us at a great company that's still aligned with Health City,
Mhm.
right? It really not only warms your heart, but shows that we did achieve um, a sizable portion of what we were trying to achieve. And there are many other stewards out there that they
Mhm.
may not be at Align, they may not be at Health City, but they're going to be in the medical field, either overseas to come back or in other organizations. And that means
Mhm.
what we said we were going to do and what we were able to put into practice actually came to fruition. So these
Mhm.
are these are the exciting types of conversations a decade later. And then a lot of the seeds we plant today, when we talk about 10 years from now, we want 40% of the medical professionals in Health City to be Caymanian.
Mhm.
You can see that, it's a journey,
Yeah.
but we'll eventually get to where we're going by putting in these types of frameworks.
Mhm.
And that's why even at a separate level, when we speak about policies and the such with government officials and explain what the vision is, it's good to be able to show that what we said 10 years ago, we can show you tangible efforts and the
Mhm.
tangible product in front of us. So when we speak about what we're trying to achieve in the next 10 years, it's easier to believe that, okay, these guys are actually going to do, guys and gals are actually going to do what they say they're going to do and
Mhm.
give best efforts towards doing what's right. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to have Stuart on the show speaking about all of his experiences.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, one of the things, one of the reasons you're here today is that you are sort of rebranding what used to be your Healthcare Explorers to program now to Health City Explorers. So tell us a little bit about the rebranding. I noticed that you've been doing a little bit of rebranding, and obviously this comes under your remit, Shamari, tightening things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, the Health City name being much more prominent so that it, I guess, probably doesn't get confused with anybody else's program. I don't know if anybody else has one, but you guys are certainly leading the charge as it comes to the Explore program and all of the different areas that you have that can really be transformative for our young people's lives.
Definitely. So over the past 2 to 3 years, Sandy, you would have seen that Health City itself,
Mhm.
the brand for Health City Cayman Islands, has gone through a brand refresh,
Mhm.
where our logos have changed, the
Yep.
type font has changed, our lotus flower, we still kept the lotus flower. We removed NH from our logo, so a lot of people may have not even noticed that there
Yeah.
was a NH on our logo, but that's Narayana,
Mhm.
which is our parent company out of India. We have over 40 hospitals and embedded units, second largest private healthcare conglomerate within India, which, as you know, is the most populous country in
Mhm.
the world. So even though it was there, it really was a distractor for us in that people didn't really know what it was, and there's no brand affinity. So it wasn't giving us any benefit of having it there.
Mhm.
So we just wanted to remove it, just because we were given the authority to do that, and have something that just speaks to Cayman and the Cayman Islands and Health City and the brand that we built. So we did that first. And when we first thought of healthcare explorers,
Mhm.
we wanted it to be for the whole island, right? Whereby persons who come through the program and are excited about the different areas get into healthcare, whether it's with Health City or not. But what we were finding is that if we were at a career fair, or if we were in schools and having healthcare explorers, the first thing a young person comes up and says to you is, so what is this? And are
Mhm.
you a hospital? And where are you from? And it was causing some confusion. So
Mhm.
to me, it's simple, right? Everybody knows the great
Mhm.
work we do. And then students, interestingly enough, when we speak about the products, the Shadow a Doctor program, like people know that's Health City, right? Like
Mhm.
when people ask for that name when they hear of it, oh, the Shadow a Doctor, can I do that? So we just wanted to more or less refresh it and make sure that it from jump, people know that it's Health City. So we stop less questions about, oh, where are you from? What are you doing? And people can just know it's Health City. And the explorers part, we wanted to keep, just because we have a mix that you, well, those on radio, you can't really see it right now, but you will see the star, right?
Mhm.
But it's within an actual compass, right? So
Mm.
typically you have a compass when you're navigating to try and figure out where you want to go. So we liken that to young people trying to figure out where they want to go in life. And this healthcare
Mm.
explorers helps them to actually explore with a compass to see,
Mhm.
yes, did I actually reach my destination like Stuart? Or
Mhm.
I want to go elsewhere. And in some of the iterations, we combined the star with the compass. So it's
Mhm.
like the North Star that's guiding you where you want to go, and then it actually comes down into the compass. So we're just having some playful types of iterations of the visuals, but at the end of the day,
Mhm.
not a big deal. But we want people to know it's Health City Explorers, because we're helping young people explore and figure out whether or not they want a career in medicine. And if they do, just try and help them to narrow it down a little bit further, as well as to help them along the way. So we have a great team with Mr. Charles Bush, as well as Miss Shakira
Mhm.
Connor, who have been on this program before. And
Mhm.
even when students potentially have difficulty if they go off to school, they know they can actually reach out to one of the two and get some guidance, and we help students as best as possible to navigate, to be that extra caring hands to help them to complete their journey as well. So we're excited to have Health City Explorers, and it looks like Health City. It looks like the new brand, and persons won't have to waste time wondering who it is if they come and speak to us. And at the end of the day, as we'll talk about, we have a lot of partnerships with a lot of other entities. So it isn't about Health City, but it's about the young person reaching their ultimate goal. But less time discussion about who we are and more about the actual program that we're offering is what we do.
Yes, absolutely. So, Stuart, tell us a little bit about your university experience. So, where did you end up going to university?
Absolutely. So I started off in Toronto. So I did my undergraduate degree in Toronto at the University of Toronto.
Okay.
And I did a biology degree as kind of like the background. And then I decided on physiotherapy as a career, and I went to Scotland to do my physiotherapy postgraduate training. So I ended up going to Robert Gordon University in Scotland, which has like one of the best physiotherapy programs in the UK, actually, which is I'm really grateful for. So.
Oh, fantastic. So again, folks, if you're just joining us, we've got over 200 people, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Don't forget, we send out the links daily on our WhatsApp channel. But if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Health City today. I know some of you are like, wait a minute, did we have a holiday Monday and I missed something? No, it is Monday. Health City is joining us today, and we're talking about the Health City Explorers program, which has been rebranded a little bit. With beautiful new logo. 11 years of Health City Explorers now training and offering assistance to literally thousands, 67,000 encounters since its inception. And young people have the opportunity to get involved in a number of different programs offered at Health City, really aimed at reaching our young people and allowing them to experience and learn more about the medical world, and to see if this is something that could be of interest to them. And of course, Stuart, young man here joining us today, talking about his journey becoming a physiotherapist and his sort of interest peak through the SURF program at Health City Explorers. So it's an award-winning program. Tell us a little bit about the history of the program, Shamari, going all the way back to June of 2014.
And Sandy, so I heard from a wise manager once that you can't manage what you can't measure, right? Mm-hmm. So even though we were having this program, and on the periphery it may look like a nice to have program, we decided that we had to brainstorm and how do we track how we've done semester over semester, year over year. And we boiled it down to positive student encounters, right? And quality encounters. So not a pamphlet, but actual things like an encounter would be a student who comes for a shadow a doctor program. An encounter is a student who will get into this, who we actually would have produced videos for the school and in working with the science lead at that school, so that it's tied into the curriculum and it's counted as some of the activity that the teacher would actually need to deliver throughout the year. So we were a part of the curriculum. And when students watch that video, that then the teacher would have quizzes and such on, each student that would have watched and engaged with that video over that 10, 15, 20 minutes is a positive student encounter. And so, people will look at that now in 2025, we'd have 67,000 student encounters, positive student encounters and quality student encounters. They would say, but wait, we don't have 67,000 students, but that's because many different students can have 10, 15, 20 different encounters over years. And that's what solidifies the pathway, not touching them once. It's like marketing, right? They say it takes 7 times for you to actually see a message for it to start to penetrate. It's the same, and even more so with young people. Every encounter, quality encounter over time, will, one, let them get better in science and STEM, which helps them, if nothing else, in that area. But 2, then they start seeking Health City to have further encounters to help narrow down their path and have that trajectory. So we would have started in 2014 with 18 students that were 18 encounters. By 2025, now we've had 67,000 encounters. And in the 2024-2025 student year, because we start September and go through to the next year summer, we would have had close to 15,000 encounters that last student year. And the year before was a record with 13,000. So we surpassed. So we have 14,962 in the 24-25 calendar year. And every year we're trying to figure out not only how do we increase our encounters, but how do we offer new products that make sense that will help us to actually achieve our goal. So we're proud of being able to increase those numbers as well. Stuart is standing in front of you and probably had 1 or 2 or 3 student encounters. So we talk about positive student encounters, and the outcome at the end is Stuart with a line, aligned with Health City for physiotherapy as one of those outcomes in a tangible manner.
Yeah, I love it, and I think that Stuart. By the way, you're such a well-spoken young man. Can I just tell you?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you're listen, you speak better than some adults that I know, so I'm going to take my hat off to you there. But no, I mean, it's so great to see young Caymanians getting into physiotherapy as well, because it's not really been an area that traditionally we've seen a lot of young Caymanians get involved in. So we do have some video clips that we're going to play this morning as well. They're very short video clips, and the first one is about Becky learning.
Right.
So check this.
So before you play the video,
yes,
this is one of our newest products. So as I had mentioned before, we actually work with right now across the board with most schools, but we have 100% of all government schools working to put on science fairs, and we'll come to that, but also our on-demand videos. The first iteration, we started with more of your high school age students, where we would figure out what, with the science lead, what they were teaching, whether it was light, whether it was a magnetic fields, etc., and what within the hospital we could use, produce a video to more or less depict that portion of the curriculum, and then have a physician at the back end to answer questions right remotely with students, and we were doing that. And over time, we started saying, like, you always know, Sandy, when I speak about the fact that, back in tourism, there was always that trivia, right? Like, what's the highest percentage of persons within a certain career that at the youngest age knew they were going to be that career? And it was 95% of pilots knew before the age of 10 they were going to be pilots, right? And it was so interesting that when we heard from Dr. Shetty, he's like, listen, 90% of physicians and nurses know they're going to be a physician or nurse before the age of 10. So we were actually hitting students at the age of 13, 14, 15, and we had to brainstorm, no, we have to reach these kids from the ages 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to try and spark the mind from that age. So we were doing different things, going in, speaking, but a lot of times they didn't want to hear from us, trying to make it exciting with games. And because our on-demand videos were doing so well in the I still call it middle school and high school ages, we're like, how do we reach the primary school age demographic at their level so that they can be interested in healthcare and science? And we brainstormed, and kudos to Mr. Charles and Miss Shakira. And this is an actual product now, the end product of that vision of how we reach those youngest kids in primary school and tie it to STEM as well as healthcare.
Fantastic. No, I mean, this is absolutely amazing. So like I said, let's go ahead and cue up this video, and then we've got some other ones that we're going to have really, because, when you see the young people in action, you see how excited they are to be walking the halls of Health City and so forth. It's just, that this is an amazing program.
And this is just a snippet
your name?
of one of the
Becky.
videos.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
What's your name?
Becky. We were talking about our years in school today, ma'am.
Hi, Becky. You were? And what did you learn?
That our ears help us to hear all the sounds around us. That's called hearing.
That's exactly right. And do you know what else?
What, ma'am?
Hearing is one of our 5 senses.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Little
So
Becky.
that was just a snippet, and for those on the radio, you wouldn't have seen, but it's a
Mhm.
young Caymanian looking young lady
Yeah, she
in
looks like she's
primary
got
school.
on the Georgetown primary school uniform.
Private school uniform on in a doctor's office with the
Yes.
doctor, and then it's to deal with hearing, and the doctor speaks about loud sounds, and then you will hear the lightning, and the young lady talks about how scared she is, and then to talk about sounds that you like, and it's at the
Mhm.
beach, and then they'll get transposed and they're at the beach and there's the sea, and the doctor's actually explaining how hearing works. So it's a fun interactive way for students to understand that there are doctors around, and there are doctors that help with hearing, as well as
Mhm.
how science is involved with hearing. And that's actually being rolled out now throughout the primary schools, the
Mhm.
government primary schools, and we're working also with the private schools to see which ones would want to be a part of the program.
Mhm.
And right now we have over, don't let me get this wrong, but we have, trying to remember how many videos we currently have in our library. But I'll find the number. But we have many videos within our on-demand
Mhm.
library that we've created over the years. That depending on what you're teaching, you can actually teachers can actually use it with their classes as well.
Mhm. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. And the sort of list of programs, you've got the surf program, which we've mentioned. But one of the things that's critical is you guys are actually accredited as an educational institution providing technical and vocational, that's TVET education training for paramedical vocations. So tell us a little bit about the accreditation, Shamari, because I think that's important.
Right. So this is through the government. So the
Mhm.
government did a great job in actually formulating criteria for
Mhm.
different companies, and some companies actually would do it as a business, teaching TVET and the such, where others are trying to do it as a public good, as giving back in the community, but you still need standards, right?
Mhm.
So even though obviously we bring students through for Shadow a Doctor, and we have all these different programs, there are, for instance, different TVET types of technical and vocational areas, such as being sleep lab technicians, such as being phlebotomists, which is like pulling blood in the lab and the such. So we
Mhm.
actually put together a program whereby if you go through our program and you're certified on the back end, you're actually
Mhm.
certified through the organizations in the US, where you could actually leave Cayman and go elsewhere and actually be a sleep lab technician, or be a phlebotomist, or be a CSSD technician, which is a sterilization technician within the actual operating room. So over time, the same way when I was in tourism, we used to talk about, you don't have to work, to be a part of tourism and hospitality, you don't have to work in the hotels and be a waiter, server, bartender, or
Mhm.
manager of rooms. You actually can be an accountant and sitting in tourism. You can be a marketer and sit in tourism. There are all of these different areas that you can sit. It's the same as a hospital. You don't have to
Mhm.
be a doctor, a nurse. Yes, we have accounts. Yes, we have marketing. Yes,
Mhm.
we have being in the chief business officer, right? Which you
Mhm.
don't actually have to be technically a doctor or a nurse. And there are other areas, like there are the technical areas that we
Mhm.
can train you to be a phlebotomist, a sleep lab technician, and that can be a great career or a stepping stone to go into other careers. And we've
Mhm.
seen where we've identified Caymanians that started at the front of the house, that
Mhm.
started as porters and the such, and we've actually helped them to then identify them and to go through training to become trained, and at times they
Mhm.
will become trained, work with us, and actually even go to other healthcare organizations, which is great. We
Yeah.
now have a trained Caymanian within the ecosystem of healthcare
Mhm.
in the Cayman Islands, which is the ultimate goal as well.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm going to show another video here with some of the very young, again, based on their uniform. This looks like maybe one of the primary schools.
It is, yes.
But, very young kids getting to look into microscope. And, the funny thing is, through the Explorers program, they might realize that this isn't quite what I want to do. Like Stuart said, he was, kind of like not sure, had two sort of final options in mind, and this helped to solidify that, yes, he wanted to go the PT route. But maybe for other young people, they might go, you know what, this isn't actually what I thought it was going to be like. It's not what I want to do. But the experience, nonetheless, is extremely valuable in them being able to make that decision, because now they have a little bit of context to put to, what people do in this environment. So here again are some young people, out and about getting to tour some of the facilities. And now you've got two amazing facilities at Health City, Cayman Islands.
My name is Carly. I learned the different types of doctors, and I learned that the MRI scan is magnetic. We had a nice introduction. I saw a lot of different people and a lot of different machines that I've never saw before. Today I learned when people get strokes and get in car crashes, when they do surgery. Some people donate blood so that if they need more blood, they can have some. I got to see the laboratory.
Yeah, so that was a little field trip, folks, that some of the primary school students had the opportunity to go on and listen. They're explaining and understanding, obviously, like what the important role of the blood lab is all about. So that young man did a pretty good job of explaining why it's important. If people have strokes or they have medical emergencies, the blood lab plays a very, very key role to them, potentially even surviving and having a much better outcome. So, wow, fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, we love having our young people come through. They're so amazing. They ask such great questions, and you would even see, right, based on, I think you had covered it as well. The young person from I keep saying Northside Primary, from Edna Moyle Primary School, who would have taken CXCs, some CXCs, and actually had great passes in CXCs. So even from a young age, we have brilliant minds across the schools, but also brilliant minds within the primary school system as well. And we're just excited to be able to see those sparks that we can help to create even at that level. And they ask such great questions. They're engaged, which is what you want at that age. A lot of times, especially with us boys, we'll fidget and whatnot, but we've got to give them exciting things to do. And field trips and the such gets to excite young minds and keeps them busy and active and show them the fun behind learning as well.
Absolutely. Miss Pat says, excellent job, Health City. Starting early education is so important to our success. Love this. Thank you, Miss Pat. She's always one that advocates for education. And as we say here in the program, the triple D, data-driven decisions, being extremely important to all of the decisions that we constantly make in this country. So let's talk now about some of the Health City Explorer partnerships that you have. So all of the government schools and some of the private schools as well?
Correct. Yeah, some of the private schools. We definitely, I'll have the list because we have quite a few of the primary schools, but private schools, sorry, not all. But we're making our rounds, and what was interesting is, for me, obviously being a product of the government schools and private, because I went to prep school to start, but then transitioned over to middle school and then high school. We started as Kimna's High School and ended as John Gray High School when I was there. And actually was the last cohort that did A level as part of the government system. After we finished, it was disbanded and went into the private institution. But my heart always is closest to the government schools, and just because we had the contacts within, and they were so willing to be able to have additional innovative help within the government schools. We did so, and we're proud that we really pushed it, and we got 100% of the government schools. But we're also working to try and get 100% of the private schools, which
Mhm.
I want to say the majority of them also are on board, the major ones. Um, so we're making positive movement across all schools, but we're proud
Mhm.
that we're in all of the government schools when it comes to on-demand videos, as well as
Mhm.
the health care. Well, now it's Health City Explorers fairs.
Mhm.
So it was actually Shakira when she was new. Shakira, as you know, started with us straight out of school,
Mhm.
had various positions, left us for a little, and then we were able to
Mhm.
get her back to come into the education arm. And her idea when we spoke about how do we reach the majority of students to
Mhm.
energize them outside of what we're doing, and she spoke about, let's have science fairs and give awards, and they can produce the different experiments working with the science leads. So each
Mhm.
school does it a little bit differently, but we fund and work with the schools to make sure that we're funding the materials and the awards and everything for the kids,
Mhm.
and then more or less the actual schools put it on, but with the support of Health City being there as a major
Mhm.
partner for that. So we're really excited that we're able to say that we do that across 100% of the government schools as well.
That's fantastic. And I will tell you that one of the things that obviously caught my eye with the second video there was being able to see the young lady you were just talking about. Just remind me of her name. It just slipped me.
Oh,
Um,
Melanie?
no, that left and
Oh,
came back.
Shakira. Shakira?
Shakira, sorry.
Yes.
Shakira is from East End, I believe, right?
Yes, yes, she is.
And for those children also from East End to be able to see her, she's leading the field trip, she's talking to them. It hits differently when you see a Caymanian face being the person
Yeah.
who's giving you the tour at this facility, and they can talk about their own experience of,
Mhm.
how they have come up doing, starting out in different programs as part of the Health City Explorers, offerings. And I think
Yeah.
young people are going to go, wow, she can do it. Young Caymanian, they can
Mhm.
relate to her. The accent sounds familiar. They might
Mhm.
even know who she's related to. They would probably be thinking, yeah, this is something that I can do as well. Stuart, how important do you think it is to see more Caymanian faces in industries, especially around the medical profession? You're a PT, and I know there's not that many physiotherapists that are Caymanian. So when you see another Caymanian who, whether they're physiotherapists, doctor, whatever, how proud does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very proud, actually. Yeah. So Melanie, you guys talked about
Mhm.
before, is another physiotherapist that works here at Health City, and her being Caymanian too is it makes me feel very proud that we're finally diving into the healthcare field and becoming a part of that community. So I
Yeah,
hope that that continues, and the work that Health City is doing is definitely propelling that for sure. So I'm
yeah,
grateful for that.
absolutely. And of course,
Um,
yes, Shamari.
Sandy, not to cut you, right? But
Mhm.
so what I really found heartfelt was other hat on with Education Council.
Mhm.
We were touring Edna Moyle's primary school, which they are an excellent primary school and one of the best primary schools in Cayman, and they have a
Mhm.
lot of learning that other primary schools can have as well. So that's
Mhm.
definitely a shining beacon of how you can deliver education. Um,
Mhm.
within the Cayman Islands period, but also obviously within a government school. And in one of the classrooms that we were touring, sure enough, the teacher figured out that I was from Health City and pointed to the board where the young persons were writing essays about meeting Miss Shakira and
Oh,
Mr. Charles
wow.
at Health
See?
City, and everything Miss Shakira told
Mhm.
them, and Mr. Charles told them, and I was like, wow.
Mm.
So you don't even think about it, right? But having a Miss
Mhm.
Shakira and a Mr. Charles, they're giving a
Yep.
tour, even though they obviously were speaking about the doctors they met and whatnot. It was so impactful to them that in their essays they were writing about Miss Shakira and Mr. Charles. So you brought that point home that I remembered seeing that
Mhm.
on their essays that were very well written on the boards, and these were young kids that were like 6 and 7 that were writing these essays about their trip to Health City. But Miss Fikira and Mr. Charles were the stars of the show, so they really had a positive impact on those young minds.
Wonderful. No, I mean, that's fantastic. The Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin School of Nursing as rotation site for nursing students. So, not just children, but even adults who are, taking training courses at University College of the Cayman Islands. That's the nursing school there. Again, Health City has been an integral part of that. They put on their annual student organized health event, health fair. And I know the Health City is always there supporting them for that as well. Title sponsor for the Health City Ruth E. McLaughlin Alumni Excellence Award. Tell us a little bit about what this is. This is every graduate, every cohort that is coming out. You guys actually offer an award for the top student.
So that one, from an alumni perspective, is really just to elevate the nursing profession for Caymanians. So it can be any Caymanian nurse that's an alumni that has done great things in the healthcare field within nursing. That we actually have a bipartisan type of scenario where we have judges from UCCI and elsewhere that actually judge the recommendations that are coming in, and they actually award, and then it's the Health City Award, but it's really through the judges and those individuals that were actually nominated to get the award, just to highlight the importance of nursing and Caymanians within nursing. So that's one way that we also give back. As well as throughout UCCI, to your point, there is a prize for the first year student with the highest GPA that we give to the nursing student when they have their various award ceremonies and the such, just because at the back end, yes, we want to give an award, but after that first year, knowing that when you're going into that first year, that's some of the toughest times, getting accustomed to that type of work, we wanted to also give just a little bit of extra extra incentive, as well as some recognition for those students that are going through their journey as well. UCCI has been a great partner. Obviously, it's their program, but we just try and help as much as possible. And just to state that having a CNO now, the Chief Nursing Officer, which is a new role within the ministry, has helped to elevate even further the partnership in bringing UCCI, that always does a great job, with Health City and other healthcare organizations together to be able to actually elevate that nursing program and give the best experience possible. And we look forward. I know UCCI also has a conference that they're putting on that they would need sponsorship and the such. So wherever we can help, we would definitely come in and help towards producing the best Caymanian professionals possible within the healthcare space.
Fantastic. No, it's good to see such good corporate citizenship. And I think Health City has obviously proven that it can be done, and it's done with real results. We see Stuart Watt here again, who's a former Health City Explorers intern. Yep, SURF program. All right, so we do have one more video as well that we are going to play. So we're going to go ahead and cue that one up. This is Red Bay Primary as school students also participating in what looks like a field trip as well.
Today at Health City, I learned about the different doctors such as heart surgeon, cardio surgeons, and there are many other doctors. I loved my Health City field trip. It was amazing. I would love to do it again.
I learned about the different sicknesses and diseases that people can have, and how doctors could learn about them and get the diagnosis. How doctors could get the diagnosis. So I know a lot about health, and this actually helps me impact my learning and my knowledge about health.
I love it. And I love that they are getting used to those big words already. Trust me, I was like, yes, girl, we struggle. She did a great job. And the little young man was trying to say cardiologist, and I'm like, boy, it's tough. Some of them are real tongue twisters. So no, that's amazing. Again, when I reflect back on my education, some of the most sort of impactful, fun, and also educational times were actually the field trips. I mean, I got to see so many things that otherwise I would not have been exposed to at such a young age through I was in the States, but still it was through the field trip programs that were offered. So I think field trips are important. It's an important part of education. It gives children the opportunity to be in a different environment outside of the traditional classroom. And they're fun and you learn a lot, and it's a memory that you will keep with you, I think, forever, quite frankly. So, Stuart, parting words for young people who maybe are tuned in this morning, even, university age students who are kind of contemplating what they want to do, if they want to contact Health City Explorers program, what would you say to them?
I would say absolutely do it. Take advantage of all the learning opportunities that Health City offers. They offer such a wide variety, and it's an experience that you can't get elsewhere. Like Mr. Shamari said, like you cannot get this quality elsewhere. Like I've been in Canada and I've fought for my internships over there and done one or two, and it's just nothing in comparison. You don't get the same personal connection and the hands-on teaching and learning that you get at Health City, and with that Cayman kind of support structure behind it. So definitely please take advantage if you're interested in a career in healthcare.
Yes. And Shamari, of course, I know that you guys work incredibly hard to ensure that these opportunities are made available for learners across a different variety of ages and aptitudes, private school, public school, everybody really just having this opportunity. So as you come in the program, I have ideas as well. And I was just thinking, seeing how enthusiastic the young people were to be on the field trip. I'm just going to throw this out there. We need to obviously encourage them to be healthier in their lifestyle choices. And I know that Health City always promotes making good lifestyle choices. Every time one of your physicians come on here, whatever disease they're talking about, they always include, listen, get a control of your weight, diet, exercise, smoking, drinking, all of these lifestyle elements. Sometimes eliminating those completely or getting them under control really gives you better health outcomes. I was just thinking, another fun element, especially for young people, would be how to take better control of their own health and making sure that they know their numbers early on, because, unfortunately, we're hearing more and more that children are now becoming diabetic and pre-diabetic at extremely early ages. So maybe sort of a nutrition and health program geared towards young people could be, a little bit part of this, like teaching them about nutrition and eating well and, why it's important to be physically active and putting down those game controls. But that's just something that kind of popped into my head. I'll throw that out there for you. You can add it to your vast list, I'm sure, of things to consider. But, just congratulations on the work that you guys are doing through the Health City Explorers program.
And soon comes Sandy. So we actually are in conversations with the government about, and I must state that I'd made this suggestion, other hat on, from a nutrition perspective. Obviously, government's paying for breakfast and lunch. I'd made a suggestion, and they already have some help in that area. And months later, they reached out and said, can you actually provide some of the resources you had mentioned? Because we have nutritionists, dietitians, etc., to help. So we're in the in the process right now, figuring out how we can make that resource available in a way that would be effective. So carving out enough time that whether it's reviewing menus and the such. So I must give kudos off to the Ministry of Education and one of the departments that actually took us up on that offer. And if they're listening to the program, they're like, Shamari hasn't gotten back to us as yet. But yeah, that is true, because we're trying to figure out how we're not only doing it to tick a box, but we're doing it and we can be impactful and make sure that whomever and how we do it there's enough time and dedication behind it. And just to say that another full circle moment is we have a video of a cohort of young people that were speaking about the various programs. And there was a young lady, she hasn't given me permission to use her name in this context, so I won't say it, that was a part of one of our videos, to Stuart's point, speaking about she was the surf cohort that then got the opportunity to go to India, right, for a month to see surgeries and to be a part of the network. And she said that that experience was so valuable that she was able to put that on her, I was about to say resume, her application to university to get into the medical field. And she had found out that having that experience actually separated her from the rest of her cohort and was one of the components that allowed her to gain access. And then full circle, we had PAHO officials here touring Health City with ministry officials. And guess who was one of those ministry officials? Young lady who had actually come through the SURF program many years ago and gone off, and now is actually within a policy position within the Ministry of Health, who is actually doing great things there as one of the young minds that will help with policy development for the country. So, we're seeing more of the Stewarts and more of, I won't say her name, and more of the Melanies and the such that are doing great things across the spectrum within the Cayman Islands, and that's all we're trying to do, and look forward to the next 10 years of all the young people who are Caymanians that will be within the medical field.
Wow, thank you so much. And I'm so happy to hear that the government is also partnering with this, because as Keith says, he gives an example of the government in Cuba taking healthcare seriously and providing free healthcare education training to their citizens. And surely the Cayman Islands, in partnership with the Health City Explorers program, can do lots of things to help our young people as well. Well, thank you both so much. Stuart, thank you so much, and continued success on your journey of being a physiotherapist. I'm telling you, post-surgery right now, it's one of those, I appreciate physiotherapists I appreciate them even before this, because, I've got a lot of crooks and backaches and all sorts of things going on, foot pains. And so I see a therapist a lot, but really the journey of getting back to where I need to be in terms of my knee has been made so much easier by having a physiotherapist there who's like, okay, I need to see, more extension in the leg. And then here are some things I want you to work on during the week, and being able to show up and feeling a sense of accomplishment that, yes, I did what I was supposed to do this week. And I actually see the results. I'm pretty much walking more or less, like I'm about 97% there, I think, in terms of my gait, my walk, and a little bit more, I think, in the extension in certain positions. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey. And I just want to thank all physiotherapists who do an amazing job, because you help recovery and pain management, with your patients. So thank you so much, Stuart.
And Sandy, I have persons who are listening in. So from the education team, just to mention that nutrition is also covered in the field trips as well. But that's good. Just one touch point, but we need to make sure, as you said, a holistic touch point at every level where we can. And if anyone wants more information about any of the programs, the easiest way is to email us. We always have someone manning the email. You get a response. It's at explorers, so EXPLORERS at healthcity.ky. So explorers at healthcity.ky for anyone that has any questions, or if they would like to access, any parents listening that would like to access the programs, or any young people in middle high school that would like to access the programs as well. And before we leave, Sandy, just one other thing. When you can't manage what you can't measure, and what does success look like? So we brainstormed and we looked back in 2014-15, like what is the metric we can look at that would help to tell us we're on the right track nationally. And we looked to see how many, we said, scholarships, right? We looked to see how many of the scholarships, what percentage were medically inclined, lack of a better word, and it was 8%. back in 2014, 15.
Mhm.
And then we said, you know what? If we get that 8% up to 15% or 14% in 4 years of doing work, we would have been successful. And sure enough, in 2018, that went up to 16%. And then we said, okay, so we're on the right track. Obviously, the government's doing a lot of work as well, and we're doing the work within the schools and the such. In 2023, that number is now 20%.
Wow.
So in 9 years, right, we've gone
Mhm.
from 8% to 20% of all scholarships being medically inclined.
Wow.
So it obviously it's a holistic effort and
Yes.
many different partners involved. But we like to think that we've done our part, and definitely reaching in and just increasing over the years what we're able to do
Mhm.
within
Mhm.
within the space of career path development as well as medical incentivization through programs that
Mhm.
allow young people to see what a career in medicine could look like.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both so much. Stuart, have a wonderful week. I'm sure your patients are waiting for you. And Shamari, thank you so much as well.
No, thank you, Sandy, and hopefully after Thursday we
You'll have
will
some good news for me.
we'll be in the we'll shock the world and beat Buffalo and be in the wins column.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you
Don't worry,
both
Stuart. I have a
very,
Dolphin
very
shirt for you too.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you guys both very much.
Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Take care. Have a good day. All right, folks. That was Health City Cayman Islands. Again, Health City Explorers program unveiling their sort of rebranding and renaming of that. So if you'd like to find out more, please do reach out to them. All right. So good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. You know, I do kind of wish that we were having a bit of a better Monday from the perspective that there were a few things that happened over the weekend that were kind of sad. Not kind of, definitely sad. And wow. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about it. We have a young man who unfortunately lost his life on the roads, and we need to talk a little bit about this. You know, it's one of those situations where there are no winners, or you know, everybody's a loser when these types of incidents happen in our communities. But there is this one is taking a little bit of a different turn. And so I want to discuss it. For those of you who don't have social media, I'm going to play a video that we actually shared over the weekend on our social media platforms. And it was really triggered by the fact that, unfortunately, we had this incident. The young man who was killed is a Filipino national. And so there's some people in the Filipino community who I have seen messages where they are saying that this was a deliberate act. Now, listen, I obviously don't have all the details. The police say their investigation is continuing. We do know that the individual, I'm hearing he's a young Caymanian, sounds like. I don't have a full name as yet, but that he tested initially over the permittable blood alcohol level. So in other words, they have now arrested him on suspicion of a DUI. It's sad, folks. I mean, I wish that there was some portable tool that literally before you decided to drive that you could blow and it tell you what your numbers are, so that you know that you need to actually take a taxi and you don't need to drive. So this young man, Paolo is his name, unfortunately has lost his life. And as you guys will know, the Filipino community here, his name is Paolo Jacinto Pias, I think is how it's probably pronounced. You know, it's a very, very sad situation that he is no longer with us. Young man came here to the Cayman Islands obviously trying to work and support his family. And I think that a lot of us don't appreciate the journey that people go through in order to come to our community, to our beautiful island. And yes, it's a benefit to them, but there's a lot of stress on these individuals. They are oftentimes supporting extended family. They're supporting not just perhaps their parents if they have a child or a wife, but there's quite a few people that really rely on them to provide financial support. And so when you have a loss of a life in this situation, not only have you lost your brother, your cousin, your child, which is an immense loss of its own, in a practical way, you have also lost someone who no doubt was providing financial support to others. I'm not sure if he was married or had any children of his own, but there's some pictures here that have been posted on social media of Paolo. And, I just want to extend my condolences to all of his family members, first and foremost, his friends and his work colleagues. So apparently, Paolo worked at Palm Heights, and it was him and his coworker. We have a name. I'm going to tell you guys. Yeah. Him and his coworker were crossing the street there by Palm Heights. Now, I will say that I've gotten some feedback, and I do want to talk about this as part of today's discussion about the lighting that is there. Now, I'm going to admit that because I don't really, I'm not someone who supports Palm Heights in any way, shape, or form. I think I've been there once to Tilly's for lunch, and that's because the person who was hosting the lunch insisted that that's where we needed to go. That was well over 4 years ago. I have never been on their property of my own accord, and I really don't have any interest in going. So I can't say that I know at night what the lighting is there, but a number of you have actually reached out and have said that the lighting is very, very poor. Now, I'm a little bit surprised by that, and I'll tell you why. I'm surprised by that because right across from there is where Deckers used to be, right? And of course, back in the day, I frequented what was Bamboo. I used to love Bamboo Restaurant. Child, I lived up in Bamboo. And I frequented that area. And of course, we know the horrific story of what happened to our beloved Estella Scott Roberts. And one of the concerns that came out at that time was the lighting in the parking lot and the adjacent, overflow parking. There were some criticisms levied at the time that there wasn't sufficient lighting there. And so, I thought for sure that Deckers increased the lighting and by extension, what's the name? What would have been, was it Hyatt? What was Bamboo? What was the hotel that was there before Hurricane Ivan called? I think it was Hyatt, right? That they also worked in some lighting and so forth in the area. So I am a little bit surprised that this continues to be an issue. Now, I don't know when Palm Heights took over the property. They put up a lot of foliage, which can impact, even if you have lights coming off the building, the more trees and whatever you have to kind of create this very tropical feel as you enter their property. Obviously, all of that can be impacted based on, can impact the light, right? Based on how the trees are and that sort of thing. So, it's been a question of concern. And it certainly is a question that has been brought up to several people, my apologies, over the weekend, who said to me, can you address this? Can you talk about this? Because we feel like more needs to be considered in relation to the lighting situation. Like I said, I cannot speak directly to it. I did take a screenshot from what somebody sent me. Let me just see if I can find it. Because like I said, they said the lighting is not the best in that area. So I don't personally, and I want to make this very clear, I don't personally have any knowledge of what the lighting is, but these are the things that when you have a business that you've got to contemplate and to think about. The other thing I want to say is to the Filipino community. Let me just see this message here. This person says, hold on one second. Just trying to see if I can find the message. Right. So this person, give me a second here. I'm going to put this up on screen so that you can read it along. Let me just remove the person's information. I assume that everyone who reaches out is doing so anonymously, as people prefer to do. And so I will just crop out their details, and then I'll put that up on the screen. But basically, they make the point that, maybe Palm Heights has some responsibility in this because I guess they still have something across the street. I know at one point we talked about them trying to build a spa or something across the street, and planning went and made them take down the containers. So I'm assuming they probably went back and then got planning permission and put it back up. I don't know what's across the street. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with their property because I've never actually been on their property outside of the one lunch event at Tilly's. But this person says, "Dear Miss Sandy, with the sad news of the current accident, I hope the workplace can also be held accountable. There are employees of Palm Heights crossing that section continuously every day at all hours. Why have they not done more to protect their staff? Properly lit flashing sidewalks, pedestrian overpass, traffic crossing assistance of any sort. Very sad day for those involved. So many lives ruined in an instant. God bless, Miss Sandy. Thank you for continuing what you do." So, I mean, it's a valid question. I must say again, I can't speak to the lighting, but I do think it's a valid question. And I'm assuming staff, I heard he was like going over some carts or trays or something. And it was him and another gentleman. And thankfully, the other gentleman was in the hospital, and I got a photo of him that he posted basically saying, "Hey, I'm okay. I understand he's from Nepal." And he was like, "Yep, I'm okay. Looks like he got a couple, you see, bandages on him, but he is actually going to be okay." So thank God for that, because it could have been far worse, and you could have had two people that might have lost their lives that were both crossing the street, right? So, I mean, I do agree that there should be something. Is there no crosswalk there? I mean, you guys have to tell me if you're more familiar with that section of road. I don't know. I gotta tell you, I don't really traverse. When I go to West, I normally go in the back end, the bypass. I don't go that route like a whole lot. And so there's no crosswalk there, but people are crossing the street constantly because it's like adjacent properties. I'm gonna try to go out there maybe today and have a look so that I can see exactly, what's going on there. But man, I tell you, Jasara says, yes, they cross the street with large trolleys to dump garbage, I believe. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. So another person listening said that there are these portable devices. And this person said that they actually have one that basically is a portable breathalyzer. And we need more information on those, because trust me, y'all need to be blowing. I'm just saying. I'm trying to find that message again. Yes. So there is a portable tool. I keep one with me in my car, and they have them available on Amazon. Can I tell you, they sell everything on Amazon. I mainly carry it to test friends who claim that they can drive and prove to them that it's a no-no if they try. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Less than $100, $84. And trust me, this is well worth the price. So accurate and repeatable results, long-term reliability, faster recovery time, no false positives, longer battery life. So listen, I'm going to share this link with you guys. Obviously, I have no affiliation with Amazon whatsoever, but might I suggest that parents, you've got young people out there, they want to go out and have a few drinks. They never, ever, ever, ever think that they are impaired. They need to know what the legal limit is. And even one one drink can impact your ability to make sound decisions. So, get one of these breathalyzers and know what your numbers are if you're going to be out there driving. So let me just share this in the comment section, please, 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 folks. It's very, very important. Jean says that, yes, that's correct. They're taking the garbage out and the parking lot is also across the street. Wow. Oh my gosh, so sad. There is lighting at the crosswalk, but they were not using the crosswalk, says this person. Just give me 1 second here. So there is a crosswalk there, right? I thought that there was one fairly close by. But I can't quite I can't quite picture it now in terms of the exact vicinity of it, but I will try to go and have a look. So this person says, yes, there is a crosswalk there. There's lighting at the crosswalk, but they were not using the crosswalk. They always use the side closer to Grand Pavilion because they walk across to the Old Snug Harbor Road. The crosswalk has more lighting, and yes, there is a flashing crosswalk 50 feet away that they did not use. And of course, the young man, his name is Jelani McLean, and I've heard nothing but positive things about this young man. That he's such a nice, respectable young man. He's never, gotten in any kind of trouble, never, just people just even shocked at this. They're just like, oh my God, multiple lives have now been ruined because of this one incident. And I don't think the police report said how much over the limit he was. I'll just double check it. But this was someone who made a comment in relation to the young man, just saying that he's always been such an upstanding young man, and they were so sorry that this had happened and that he found himself in this situation. Jelani, I feel for the victims, and I also feel for this young man. Just 1 or 2 drinks can push you over the limit. I'm not condoning his actions with drinking at all, but he's an ambitious kind of guy who, as far as I know, has never been in trouble. He's from West Bay, but doesn't live in West Bay any longer, I don't think. He's connected to the Marins from Hurley's. Yes, he chose to have a few drinks, something many people in the Cayman Islands do nightly, but of course, drinking and driving is never okay. That said, it still needs to be established exactly what happened, whether someone stepped out in front of him or if it was a different situation. With a trolley full of beer, it's possible that broken glasses caused injuries. Very sad. So, obviously the coroner will provide the full report on exactly what happened. But I can tell you that if you are hit head on by a truck, the chances of you surviving the glasses that you were carrying is probably the least of your worries, to be quite frank. It's a truck. So people I saw a comment on, I think it was Instagram, where someone said, oh, we need to bar people from bringing in these big vehicles. And I was like, say what? Because the size of the vehicle, more people die in Honda Fits than anything else. So I was a little bit confused by that comment because it's not an accurate comment. Yeah. So yeah, okay then. So yeah, it's not the truck. But listen, you've got to be so careful. I cannot stress this enough. because of the fact that you can be distracted by your phone, you can be distracted by passengers in the vehicle with you. And if you've had a few drinks, that makes your response time, your ability to pay attention so much, it's degraded significantly. And so this now is why you, you really, really need to take it seriously when you're driving, especially at night, especially when conditions have deteriorated, because, my gosh, really and truly, accidents, like legit accidents, do happen. But a lot of times the accidents are happening because of our lack of care and due diligence. We gotta pay attention, folks. So someone said that the bridge is still there. They should make the employees use that, although it would take longer, it would still be safer. Yeah, so thank you for reminding me. So it was Hyatt until 2008, and then Grand Cayman Beach Suites until it closed in 2016. And then, of course, I think the DART group acquired it, and now it has been Palm Heights for a number of interesting years. Very, very sad. Now, I do want to, another comment came in about the lighting, so let me share this. And then I want to speak directly to the Filipino community, because I know that they're feeling this loss tremendously, but I think their response to it is not entirely, I don't want to tell people how to feel, but they're saying things that isn't actually factual. So we want to make sure we set that straight. So this person says, good morning, Sandy. Yes, the lighting on the whole of Westbury Road is very poor. It's like they have the dimmer on those light poles. But then I witnessed the people, workers from Palm Heights, not using the crosswalks and pushing carts going straight across the street. Sad that the young man died, but these people need to stop drinking and driving on the roads too. So I think that this is right, that there was probably a few factors, and we'll wait until the inquest, but I would not be surprised, and the police have completed their investigation. They said the accident recreationist. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. We'll provide some of those details, but this is probably something where was more than one factor involved in this. And it's just a, what do we call it? Trifecta effect, where it's like this, and this all combined led to very, very tragic situations. Someone else said, yes, he's a very well-mannered young man. Yeah, somebody says he owns the scooter company, Bird. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. Child, what a mess. So sad. For a few more comments, and then I want to address our Filipinos in the community. All right. So this one says, and by the way, big shout out to Kim Airways. Did a quick in and out over the weekend, went into Miami, cleared my mailbox. My mother-in-law's coming because we are traveling on Friday. So we're out of here, couples trip, hashtag. And so she will come to spend some time at Gianna and help hold down the fort a little bit. Miss Stacy can get a little break at times, it's important. There is lighting at the crosswalk, but I think I read this one already. Oh, okay. No, this is a different. There's lighting at the crosswalk, but they were not using the crosswalk. They always use the side closer to Grand Pavilion. Oh yes, I read that first part. Yes, there's flashing crosswalk. When he saw them, he swerved away, but the poor man ran in the same direction. Oh my God. Oh, that's so horrible. That makes sense now, and I'm going to tell you why. All right, we'll talk about that here in a second. Good morning. I have one too, those breathalyzer things. Good. There is a crosswalk there. And again, if you need one, if you ever drink, please, or as the other person said, if you have friends that drink, order one. It's like $80, $90 US, well worth it. Keep it in your vehicle. far as I'm concerned, every bartender should have one. Every bar and restaurant in Cayman should have one. And when people say, "Oh, I'm okay to drive," you can say, "Honey child, just blow in this," because they have updated the legal limit. So it doesn't take much to push yourself over that. Encourage them to blow. They should have a little thing where as you're walking out the door, they give you the little mouthpiece. So you're not sharing a mouthpiece, obviously, with people. You would want to do that. But you can stick your little mouthpiece on there. You blow, and then, it'll make a big ding, 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 ding. You're over. And then everybody in the bar can turn around and look at you and be like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Don't drive." This is where peer pressure now comes in, right? You don't drive. You've had one too many. I do think that bars and restaurants have an obligation in all of this as well. In the US, they will cut you off after, a certain number of drinks. Magdalene, not yet, honey child. Friday. This person says, "I have known Jelani for many years, and he's one of the most respectful young men his age that you will find. The lights at these crosswalks activate too fast, and soon as the light flashes, pedestrians stepped onto the crosswalk, not taking into consideration that vehicles take time to stop." And it is also an obligation of drivers to ensure that pedestrians to ensure that you are actually looking before you cross, because yes, some people just step out and they didn't make sure that they've got sufficient clearance. And so you've got to do that. That's how you properly use a crosswalk, right? Yes, we read that one already. My apologies. So, this is such a sad story. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. So someone was asking a question this morning saying, why does the police have to investigate? Like, once he was, involved in a DUI, then that's the end of it. What more is there to know? And I said, well, no, not really. Because as we can see here this morning, new factors coming out. He was trying to avoid the pedestrians and all these sorts of things. So he might be charged with being over the influence, but depending on how the accident actually happened, he might actually get quite a lesser charge in relation to the death of these individuals, because it sounds like despite the fact that he was over, he may not have actually been driving recklessly. There's a difference between like recklessly, carelessly. There's different like levels of how your driving is, right? So there's, I think careless is like the lesser of the offenses, or reckless. I'm trying to remember what order they go in now. Careless, reckless. Yeah, I think careless is at the bottom. So someone just shared a picture here of that crosswalk. They said it's not a current one, but still will give our viewers an idea of the placement of the crosswalk. So this was January 2020. And it's literally right before the Palm Heights entrance. So you could like walk, you could come out of Palm Heights, but get on the sidewalk and then cross it there. So where's the garbage bin? I like I said, I have to go and have a look, but there it is. It's just a couple feet away. And then this person says an older picture, but still shows the crosswalk nonetheless. And in fact, it is more visible now as the paint is on the ground. Problem is the staff and guests often do not use the crosswalk, or when they do not press the button for the light. And more often than not, even when they press the button, they just step out onto the sidewalk as if the cars can stop instantly. I often ask people who do that to me if they've ever seen a vehicle in the ER hooked up to an IV and being treated for injuries. A DUI is unacceptable, but so too is the disregard people have for their own lives. And it's so funny that you say that about the hospital, because just yesterday when I was driving in Miami, I was having a conversation with someone. I think I was sending them a voice note. I was in the parking lot of Marshall's, and I was trying to reverse into a spot, and it was very close to a column. And I don't like those, because boy, you get a little bit too close. Next thing you know, you hit the column, right? But this woman, and Americans, oh Lord Jesus, she came out of the store was in her phone, had her head down. Then she put her head up, but not one care in the world that she was walking right behind me as I'm trying to pull into a parking spot. And of course, I see her in the reverse camera. So, I'm stopping, but she just like stopped and taking her sweet bejesus time. And I was like, has this woman ever, I said this exact same thing. I'm like, has this woman ever seen a car in the ER in the hospital? Because she's acting like if I keep going, that the car is the one that's going to be injured, not her. So I was like, honey child. And I had to toot my little horn like, lady, get out the way. You're a pedestrian, but you need to pay attention to how you're walking in a parking garage. Like, you don't have a care in the world. If I hadn't been paying attention and I was being careless or whatever, I would have backed right up in that space thinking, well, what person would walk behind a vehicle who's, let me tell you something. I was just like, no, sir. These people not easy. Yeah, Irvin, they are cray-cray. I literally said to the person I was voicing, I'm like, boy, these people not got no sense. I'm like, and then, if I hit her, it's definitely going to be my fault. She won't take any responsibility or accountability for the way that she was walking. Yeah. Get your dash cams, folks. We got them on sale, honey child. Good price. All 5 components, the whole kit. Yeah, because people want to argue about what happened. And listen, if you don't have a dash cam, you might not be able to argue what happened. Somebody else says, Sandy, not only garbage, the cross street where they have their storage road with their inventory in it. So they restock a couple times a day from across the road, especially their liquor. Oh, really? That's what's over there. Oh, okay. Interesting. This person says it's called contributory negligence. Both parties share liability. Well, contributory negligence is a civil, as we know from when Recover comes in the program, that is a civil concept. In criminal law, there's no defense of contributory negligence. That's purely civil. But basically, although the term isn't used in criminal law, it is something that they would still take into consideration on what level of charges would flow. So we have a picture of the young man. I'm sorry, young man, but we have one standard for everybody. I hear you're a very nice young man and you look like you had your life together, but there he is with a young lady in some city skyline. And, get yourself a good lawyer and try to make amends to the family in any way that you can as well. I would recommend doing that. Ay. What a hot mess. Oh. So I have an announcement to make. I'll tell you guys about this here in just a second. So yeah, that was Google Maps. Somebody sent me the picture from Google Maps as well of the crosswalk. Yeah, I'm going to go visit the area today. All right. So the Filipino community has been posting a few messages about the fact that this young man was hit on purpose. Now, I do not for 1 minute believe that that is the case. Based on what the person said, that he was trying to swerve from avoiding hitting him, I understand that he called 911. He stayed on the scene. He didn't try to run. He didn't do anything like that. He was trying to be responsible despite what happened. And, it's an unfortunate situation, like I said. Now, having just heard that information, I'm going to say that, it does make you think a little bit different. This was not a deliberate act. I never believe that. I mean, nobody's going to deliberately mow somebody down. Why would somebody do that? That's crazy. Not in this situation. I mean, we saw the 2 Jamaican guys. That was deliberate. That was an argument. This was a total stranger crossing the street. You don't just hit strangers on purpose normally, unless you live in places like America. But that's a whole different story. So this wasn't deliberate. but I do understand their sentiments and how they're feeling in this moment. So I want to apologize for the fact that your friend, your colleague, your loved one has lost his life on the roads here of the streets of the Cayman Islands. It's unfortunate that fatalities do happen, and I think that where the young man has fault, is because he was over the legal limit. And we'll have to say exactly how much he was over, but he was over the legal limit. And so automatically that's going to put you in a different light as far as the law is concerned, because the law knows you're over the legal limit. Your ability to react, your ability to see people in advance, et cetera, all of that is diminished. Yes, there might have been environmental factors. Yes, there might have been, the guy walking out when he probably should have taken a crosswalk and so forth. But ultimately, now you will have to deal with the brunt of this. And this young man, Jelani, everybody's saying he's such a fine young man that, his life is going to be changed forever. And I'm sure if he's such a fine young man as all of you are attesting to, this is something that will alter his life. And this is mentally something that he will have to deal with. So of course he will need the support that he will need from his family. And I assume that you guys are more than prepared to give him that. Meng Ortiz says, yes, Jelani might be a respectable young man, but it doesn't alter the fact that he was under the influence of alcohol when he rammed into a helpless, hardworking Filipino. So yes, and I think the word rammed into him does give the impression that it was done intentionally. And I think now that is where it is obvious that was not what happened from what we're hearing. In fact, he was trying to avoid, and I hope he's got a dash cam. He didn't buy one from me, but I hope he's got one, because that would have shown probably his intent. Because if he saw the guy coming and he was doing the legal limit, you see, these dash cams capture all sorts of information. Your speed, your geographical location. It's got the interior camera. The interior camera is important because it'll show you, was the person distracted because they were on the phone? Was it a situation where they saw it, but it was just too late and he crossed over last minute? And then he was like, oh, holy, blah, 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 bleep, 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 X was, and he tried to stop. All of that a camera would capture. Folks, not just because I'm selling them, I'm telling you to get one. I'm telling you to get one for your own peace of mind and your own protection. In serious situations like this, it helps. It has the whole, parking mode. So even when you are not in the vehicle, somebody bounces into your car, scrapes up your car, whatever, these dash cams are a lifesaver. Make sure you get your dash cam, honey chill. So I feel sorry for him. And when I heard the comments over the weekend about why is he, see, Charles is saying, was he speeding? Had he had a dash cam, he'd be able to prove he was or he wasn't. Now the accident recreationist specialist will kind of have to guess based on, there's a bit of a science to it, obviously, based on the skid marks, et cetera, the stopping point. He can figure out more or less what speed he was doing. So Jasara says, Sandy, that's the attitude that they have when crossing as a pedestrian. They don't care. I see it all the time. So here is, listen, we do need reform in this area. I will admit this, because there are far too many people who are out there drinking and driving on a regular basis. We need reform. If you have ever lost a loved one to a DUI incident, or, I was a victim as a child. I got hit by a drunk driver back in the day. It was me, one of my sisters, and a neighborhood friend all walking. And this, I think he was Canadian, actually. Canadian guy in a Volkswagen Beetle. I believe it was yellow in color. I don't even remember. And I think this is one of the reasons why I have very limited memories of my childhood, because after that accident, I don't really remember much about anything before that accident, right? And I know I had broken like vertebrae and different things were broken all over the place, broken leg, broken arm, all sorts of stuff. So I was probably very, very lucky to have survived that incident. When I went back to try to get the hospital records, of course, they were like archived. It was like a really, really long time ago. But yeah, he was drinking and driving. So he could have easy kill. And I think I got the worst of it, walking in the streets as kids. And I do know that we were walking back, I believe, from back in the day, the what's it called? The Pirates Week event. I should ask my aunt about this incident and see what she remembers. But the Pirates Week event used to take place at oh Lord, where the cricket pitch is now. It used to take place there. And I feel like we were leaving that event, walking back home when this guy hit us, and he was drinking and driving. But back in those days, he probably just gave my mother a couple dollars and made it go away. Like that's what they used to do. Wasn't arrested, no criminal charge, nothing. That's just how it happened. And I've got friends who, their family members were killed by people on the streets way back when, and there was definitely no justice back in those days. But I do think that there has got to be some reform around this area, because even for really, really horrific situations, there's that young lady, I can't think of her name right now, who was involved in the Christmas party. She left the Christmas party. People told her, you're too drunk to drive. Do not drive. Call a taxi. She ignored all the warnings, ignored everyone, got behind the vehicle and went out driving and killed this poor, was he Nepalese? But poor foreign worker, right? And so when things like that, let me see if I can pull up that story. I'm trying to remember now. When things like that happen, in those cases especially, it is shocking that she has been out all of these months, living her best life. Receptionist, from December of 2024. So we're not too far off now from, this is Catherine Lopez. We're not too far up now, 22-year-old Nepalese national, We're not too far from this being an entire year. And the investigation still hasn't concluded to the point where they can charge her. And she's out in these streets living her best life. And I know that because you all constantly message me and tell me, oh my God, she's out here drinking and partying and living like nothing is wrong with her, still driving even, and having her best life. It's like, wow. We have seen the courts on more than one occasion even say that because the length of time, like with that Australian lawyer who mowed down those people after drinking at brunch all day, the courts have said, listen, because of how long it took the prosecution to get to the point where they actually had him in court, right? Because he had a previous DUI, had they dealt with that incident, he would have lost his license and hopefully he would not have been driving that day. So that accident where he almost killed those tourists could have been prevented if the police and the prosecution had kind of moved, if the wheels of justice moved a little bit quicker. And I am in complete support of the fact that the wheels of justice need to move quicker with these types of offenses. The investigation needs to happen and they need to push it forward. And they seem to be taking a really, really long time. And in the meantime, not for nothing, but the person who caused the accident or who is drinking and driving, they now they're able to still drive. They are still out on the streets doing the most, and like nothing happened. So I'm just like, that cannot be right. No, I have a problem with that. So here is our AI editorial vlog. Big shout out to our AI people. Listen, let me just say this. I see some of y'all, the only time you have something to comment about is when we use AI. Oh, I don't like this AI. You don't have to like it. Folks, try to understand something about me, okay? I'm 52 years old. I only got so many years left. And so I'm not going to mince my words, and I'm not trying to be politically correct with much of anything anymore in life, okay? If you don't like it, stop looking at what CMR posts. You can unfollow and you can block CMR. That's your prerogative. And I honestly don't care if you do one or the other or both. I would recommend you do. Because if you're so offended by something being brought to you by AI, do me a favor and stop coming in the comment section complaining about it, because I don't really give two cahoots. Okay? All right. Now, The other is accent reconstructionist. Thank you. I think I pronounced reconstructionist wrong earlier. Thank you, Bobo. Now, the funny thing is, I got to give y'all a little joke about this whole AI thing, because AI is here to stay whether y'all like it or not. Soon, all the major networks are going to be, doing news by AI. Then y'all will be like, oh, turns out CMR was ahead of the curve. Take that. Just last week, someone shared an AI video. I'm trying to find it just to segue just a little bit. But they shared an AI video of, what's her name from Compass, Zosia, whatever the heck her name is. Someone basically impersonating her. It's a scam though, but it was actually a pretty good one because they used her voice and everything. Can somebody, whoever sent me that last week, can you send it to me again? Just so I can download it. I can't remember who it was, but somebody sent it to me. They're like, is this real? And I looked at it, but because of the content, I knew that it wasn't. So I said, no, it's not. But boy, that one could have really fooled you bad. Use her voice and everything. That was some deep fake-ish. But anywho, AI is here to stay. You don't like it, lump it. I don't care. You'll be fine. All right. So this is what we released over the weekend, folks, in case you've not yet had an opportunity to listen to it.
A young man named Paolo tragically lost his life after being struck by an alleged drunk driver along West Bay Road. To his friends, family, and especially to those in the Filipino community, we extend our deepest condolences. Losing a loved one so suddenly and senselessly is a pain no one should ever have to endure. We understand the outrage and frustration being expressed. Some feel that releasing the driver so soon means there is no justice in Cayman for the Filipino community. But let me be very clear. This is not about Caymanians versus Filipinos. Sadly, this is the way the Cayman legal system works for everyone. Whether Caymanian or foreign national, when someone is arrested, even for a grave offense like murder or causing death by dangerous driving, they are usually released while investigations are ongoing. Charges can take months to be brought, and in the meantime, families are left with the impression that people are simply getting away with it. At Cayman Marl Road, we want the Filipino community to know that we stand with you. Over the years, we have consistently supported members of your community, whether it was helping recover rental deposits, fighting unfair treatment on work permits, or shining a light on injustices. We are here for all members of the Cayman community who live, work, and raise their families here. This tragedy is not about one nationality being overlooked. It is about the slackness of our laws and our judicial process. And that is something that affects us all. Caymanians, too, have buried their loved ones because of drunk drivers, and time and again, those responsible have walked free pending trial, sometimes for years. This must change. Drunk driving that causes death is not a mere accident. It is a reckless and selfish choice. It should be treated as vehicular homicide, with a mandatory minimum sentence of at least 10 years in prison. Nothing will bring Paolo back, or the many others we have lost. But we can and must demand laws that reflect the seriousness of this crime. So today, I am imploring our elected officials, consider the impact these tragedies have on families and communities across this island. Strengthen our DUI laws, deliver real justice. And to everyone watching, if you agree, please like, share, and comment on this post. Together, let's send a clear message that Cayman will no longer tolerate weak penalties for DUI deaths. Justice for Paolo. Justice for all families who have lost loved ones on our roads. Justice must prevail.
All right, folks. So, that's a very general message, but it's a serious message. I do think that, justice for everyone. And this comes back to something else I want to talk about now this morning about a policy. I mentioned it last week that we're going to be enforcing very, very strictly when it comes to Jamaicans. I'm going to get to y'all this morning because some of y'all just absolutely next level ridiculous. So we're going to talk about that. But in the meantime, some of you are wondering, somebody says that I can't help it, but the OCD in me got me tripping. Can you please adjust the clock behind you? Listen, you're not the only one. Lady T, she said they're going, Sandy, how long have I been telling you about that? That is Marlon's work area back there. Those are his 5 computer screens. I don't know if y'all can see all 5, but let me tell you something, honey child. You can see 4. There's another one there. There are 5 computer screens back there. And so that's his clock. I don't know why the clock is wrong. I don't know where the clock is getting its time from. I don't know what's up with that, but that ain't my domain. I try not to go back there and mess with the man stuff. Not at all. If he tells me to go look at something on the computer chat, I don't even know. He's got 2 mouse, 2 keyboard. I'll be confused. I don't know what's going on over there. So I will ask him to adjust it, but he may not care because that's how he is on each other. He'd be like, why are your people all up in my business? But I get it. I get it. I don't even pay it any mind anymore. But even up to last week, I think Thursday, somebody else is like, girl, what's up with Marlon's clock? But the more important question, they said, oh, and about your AI staff, are they work permits? Are their work permits up to date or do they have status? And El Rey must have been reading this person's mind because he said the same thing. Does the AI guy have a work permit? The beauty of AI, trust me, you do pay for these services. Now, come on. I know he not pronounced Caymanian right. I get it. Y'all like, what's a Caymanian? Listen, he not no worse than the Americans that be coming here trying to pronounce it. But let us admit, look at how far we have come. First of all, he's in 4K. My brother looked good in that suit. He is, I love the hair. I love the look. Listen, he is looking fine, all nice and dressed up. And you have to admit, from when we started doing the AI stuff not too long ago, we have obviously found a lot better tools. We got to pay for the better tools. That's the problem. But he's still cheaper than a work permit and still cheaper than a real employee. And I got to be honest with you, when you're running an organization such as CMR, we have to do things in a budget because we ain't got no $1 million to be spending on a studio and paying him $5,000-$6,000 a month to sit down reading editorial content or reading the news. So y'all gonna just have to work with me. There are learning tools where we'll try to teach him more and more how to pronounce the word Caymanian, like how we gonna say it. All right, but if he don't get it quite right, just ignore that little word. Don't be making one little word get you up in your feelings about my AI employee. Leave my AI staff alone, honey child. Look at how handsome he is. Look at the eye blinking and the words and the mouth is pretty good. We've come a long way with AI, and I'm telling you, in the next couple of years, this stuff is going to be amazing. Now, I can actually, Caribbean Girl, thank you, 345, said if you know that you're going to drink, make sure to get a taxi or a designated driver. I absolutely agree with that. For sure. But yeah, listen, AI is here to stay. If you don't like it, by all means, go watch the live people. I can tell you the live people not looking no better as far as I'm concerned. Let me see here now. I'm trying to find this one that someone sent me last week. So they're using it to try and scam you, all kind of stuff, and they'll be the wiser. Trust and believe me. This one says, he's fine. Jesus, forgive me, for I have sinned. She said, good morning. I love Mr. AI. He does look good. Some of y'all probably just jealous because you're not looking as good as my AI fella here, and y'all up in your feelings. Y'all will be fine. Trust and believe me. So let's talk about it. Okay. So last week I mentioned, we got a caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy. You see, if I were Marlon, I would delete AI because you've fallen too much in love with AI. You just all up in the sky, but look at his eyes blinking and his hair is so good. No, Marlon,
my gosh.
I would delete AI. First of all, let anybody know that AI is not easy to do.
No.
As someone who does a lot of the AI videos, it is not easy, and it's not cheap because for my program, I'm paying almost $200 a month, right?
Yes.
And you will never get it to say Cayman properly. I've been trying to do it for the last 7 months. The only how you could change it if you change the accent to
you voice
Caribbean
it
accent.
over yourself. Probably the only proper way is to voice it over yourself. Because even the Caribbean accents, they're not entirely Caribbean sometimes.
Right. So the only person that will be able to say Cayman properly if you change it to almost like a Guyanese or a Jamaican accent, and then you will get it to say Cayman properly, or somewhat close enough. And if you've seen the one with with the lady from, a lot of times I can record your voice and then go into another program and clone your voice. But your cloning of your voice, depending on what you're using it for the software, it has to be authorized by that software, because if you're using it for any malicious thing, then it will not, it takes about 4 to 5 hours to get it cloned. But AI, let people know it is not for someone who does, and you know that for me that does a lot of the AI on my TikTok videos and my YouTube videos, it is not easy. And people have to understand, I don't know about yours, but for that clip, for me to do that clip, it takes I think like I told you before, it's every 7 seconds. So for mine is 7 seconds intervals, and you have to piece every one of them together. So 1 minute segment is basically 8 videos that I have to put together, and it has to flow properly. So AI is not, but stop falling in love with it, brother. Stop. I'm going to have to tell Marlon. All right? All right,
Lord,
guys, take care.
thank you so much. Oh, Lord. Yeah, boy. Marlon be like, oh, you're falling in love with the AI guy. Well, the AI guy can't pay no bills around yet. In fact, he's costing me money. What did somebody just say in the comment section? This is so accurate. This person says, hold on. They said the work permit is a subscription paid. That's right, honey child. Probably more than a work permit sometimes, because as that caller said, AI ain't cheap if you get the good stuff. So this person says, vanilla has never been my flavor, but I would taste a bit of him. Lord, thank God it's 9:30. Hopefully no children are listening to the show. Oh, honey child. Listen, don't be knocking the vanilla. Chocolate is good. Vanilla is good. You got to make sure you enjoy all of the rainbow of colors. I mean, you know, my first husband was a white man with blue eyes. So I'm just saying. I'm not going to discriminate. Handsome, very handsome. I do have a preference, I must admit, for people more in the sort of, some of them, not all, because there's a difference. But people who are Indian, I've dated more of that than anything else. So I guess technically I do have a type, if you will, but I don't have a type, if you will, because hello, he would be in the runnings for sure. Oh yeah. Especially if he knows how to treat a lady. Hello. All right. MPG says you're contributing to the downfall of humanity. Oh my God, not that. The downfall of humanity all on my shoulders. Lord Jesus. What a hot mess. Okay. Aliano says, call her hush. Marlon got one AI chick calling him papi. You know, for a tech guy, there's certain things that Marlon does not really indulge in. So I doubt he has ever done anything with AI other than, I mean, like, I don't even know if he's used chat because I don't even think he has that installed or anything. He's not really into those types of things. He's the networking and the problem solver and that sort of thing. But yeah, you never know, Aliano. You see people having AI relationships and getting married to these dolls and all kind of foolishness. Shaka says, Auntie Sandy, try to ignore these naysayers with the AI and do what you have to do. You need all the help you can get. AI is your friend. Hallelujah. Where's my hallelujah button? Where's my hallelujah button? Hallelujah. Hold on. These are all the tools.
Praise the Lord.
Take that. So yes, I use whatever tools are available, and it is what it is. Like I said, y'all ain't gotta like it. None of my business. Albania just launched an AI minister. Real thing. Look it up. Like a government minister? What? That is crazy. Oh my gosh. That is real crazy. Okay. I mean, you know, and it's like to be able to use it at an elevated level, it's not as simple as you think. It takes some learning and skills, and you know, I'm learning. That's all I can tell you. Gabby says vanilla means some is high maintenance. It just depends. It runs the gamut. Sandy, this is why Cayman has to learn how to build out its own LLM models. Distillation, they're trained on all things Cayman Islands in order to define Cayman specific nuances. You know what? Somebody, Shaka, should build that. Yeah, well, I gotta name him. What are we gonna name our handsome AI fella? We gotta start giving them like proper names. We'll give them Caymanian names just to just to make those people who get bothered by him like, oh, this is Mr. George Ebanks. No, not that name. Oh God, not that name. He kind of reminds me of George Clooney. That's probably why that came in my head. What should we name him? Something else. Maybe not Ebanks. We'll give him a different last name as well. But anywho, yes. So, AI is here to stay, folks. Fabio Ebanks. Oh, yes. Ooh, Fabio. Anywho, let's talk about something else that popped up over the weekend. Corwell Bush. Shaka, he definitely don't look like no Corwell. That's an old man name. Where you get that one from? He does, but I'm using him for all of my editorial content. In case you haven't noticed, I'm going to use different characters for different things. So he is my editorial AI guy. And I like him. Parchment. Oh, Fabio Parchment? I don't know. That doesn't really have the right ring to it. But listen now. Last week I mentioned that, I was going to start blocking people, and I do mean it, because I'm not playing with y'all. Like I said, I ain't got the time in the day to be playing with y'all. So I said, listen, I am going to start blocking you guys for, and this is a very, very specific thing, because one person's like, oh, but aren't you doing the same thing when you share, like, stuff will come up in my Instagram feed, opinions, whatever, about the hot mess that's going on in America, and I'll share it. But, oh, aren't you doing the same thing? No, I'm not, because y'all not paying attention. Let me break it down for you, right? Because, in fact, this is very, very simple. There are people who this is calling me? Oops, I think I accidentally hung up on some 623 number. Oh, where did it go? It came in and then it disappeared. It's not even in my phone log. That's weird. Oh, it's still ringing. Hello, good morning. Yes, this is Sandra Hill. Morning. Good, thanks. Okay. Okay, can I get you to call me back in about 15 minutes so I can just look at my schedule and see what we're looking at for this week? Yeah? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, there. Bye-bye. Booking an appointment. All right. So listen now. This is a very, very specific nuance. And I don't know why people are doing this, because I find it extremely rude and annoying. And I guess that's the reason why they're doing it. They're trying to get all up in our heads. But these are individuals, and I don't even know that they're Jamaicans. Let me be very, very clear. They are purporting, utilize that word, purporting to be Jamaicans, and they're trying to cause this divisiveness between Caymanians and Jamaicans. Listen, if that makes y'all feel better, I can't even say do you, because it is actually really, really stupid, right? Why would you want to do that? What are you guys getting out of? Let me see if this is, oh no, this isn't it. Why are you guys wasting your time and energy trying to divide people more than they're already probably divided? It just doesn't make any sense. And it's stupid and it's ugly as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to play this video clip, because in case you don't have social media again, well, radio is off now, but listen, I'm sick and tired of y'all with your foolishness. No matter what story we put up about whatever, tragedy, crime, whatever. Oh, well, thank God it wasn't a Jamaican. The article not got nothing to do with y'all. Stay out of the comment section. Now, these people do not participate in conversations and anything else. They don't have nothing else to say. That's all they want to jump on. Well, thank God it wasn't a Jamaican, or the comment section. Your comments are divisive. You're not adding anything meaningful to the conversation. So I mentioned it last week, and y'all must have thought I was playing with y'all because somebody told you that I'm the type of person who will play games, and I'm not. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So thank you to the caller who was paying attention. They alerted me to this and said, oh, Auntie, here's one that you need to block. And I said, okay, thank you so much, young lady, for letting me know. And I surely did go and block that person. Don't play with me, because I'm not playing with y'all, okay? And you know what happens when y'all get blocked? There is no unblock button on CMR. So when you're behind get blocked, you're behind get blocked. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. I say he look a little bit like Jim Reeves. So name him Jim Haylock or Jim McLaughlin. That's true. He look a little bit. He's taller than Jim Reeves.
Thank you, Mama.
He look a little bit like Jim Reeves. He's a handsome guy. You don't look at people.
Very handsome.
So you do what you gotta do, because I don't know why people are so pathetic, like to criticize. I tell you, boy, I don't know what you could do to please people, no, sir?
Yeah, I mean, you can't please them. And that's why
you like me, you say what the clock say, who the hell cares, because it's right there. Some gonna be for you and some gonna be against you.
That's right.
People are people and you can't change them, you will never change them.
Exactly.
So
and I ain't got time.
Listen, I pleasing myself and God, this all I got pleased to have with the world.
Those are the same people who do nothing to help anybody in the community, but yet they always be the first to criticize. They're not going to come and help me run CMR.
They're not contribute, but they're willing to pay people down.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not paying them no mind. They're not helping nobody pay no bills. They're not helping to feed anybody in the community.
You like me, I do, because I don't care what they say. I don't care who like me. I don't care what they say about me, so long as they don't touch me. And so long as I got to know I'm in bag nothing, I'm not worrying.
Exactly.
I can say what my son said, I'm pleasing myself in God.
Yep. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a beautiful day.
You too.
All right, Catherine, thanks so much. Catherine says he looks like he's from the Bastille family. Actually, now that you mention it, Catherine, he does kind of look like Brett. I think that's one of their sons, right? Yeah, he kind of looks like him a little bit. And you see, this is the beauty of it, right? Caymanians look, we run the gamut in terms of shades of color, skin tone, features. Caymanians are a very diverse community. So even our AI family is diverse as well. Somebody said name him George Smith. AI character name says Shaka William Billy Bodden. That sounds like a country man. He would have to wear a little country hat. Bew Bush says Dora. No, Fabio for the win, says Gabby. Y'all are just too much. Now, this one is hilarious. Y'all are just, I can't even with y'all. Hear what this person said we must name him. Somebody says, yes, he does look like a Bastille, actually. The AI minister will show up on time and won't fall asleep. Hello. And probably pay more attention, take better notes. Y'all sit there. While y'all sitting there complaining about me using AI gonna take your job and you're not gonna be ready because you're not keeping up with AI. So y'all sit there. Talking about AI. Here's this comment, Mr. Dickworth. Mr. Dickinson or Dickworth. We are not calling him no Mr. Dickworth. No. Y'all women, you need an AI boyfriend, okay? Happy, thank you for that. Happy Independence Day to Honduras, and mañana is Mexico. So happy Independence Day to Mexico tomorrow, and today is Honduras. So this person says Jamaicans hate on each other to a different level, so we shouldn't expect anything better from them. Lord have mercy. Elvis for your AI news anchor. You're so silly. Oh, I can save your little emojis that you sent me though. Those are hilarious. So listen, yeah, so I've made myself very clear. Then there was this person, N.A. Smith, who is a Trump supporter. So every time we share something about America, Trump, whatever, they always feel it necessary to DM us on Instagram and send all these messages. We don't even respond because I barely get to check Instagram. And like I said, you're entitled to your opinion, like everybody entitled to a bonky hole. And I hardly care sometimes what your all opinion be. I mean, I just don't give a damn. Like Michelle must say, you're not paying no bills around, yeah? So why am I going to elevate you in my mind as though you're paying for space in my head? Because you're not doing that either. So you're entitled to your opinion. Good for you. Go knock yourself out. If you want to share your opinion with the world and you think that CMR is not doing a good enough job representing that, go start your own news platform. That's what I did. That's how CMR got started, because I'm like, there is something missing in this community. We, Caymanians, and, non-high-end educated people, we're not getting the full details of what's happened in this country. We're not getting stuff broken down. We're not getting the cold hard truth. So we're going to create this platform for the average person. Now, as it turns out, there are a lot of degree educated doctors listening every morning. I got one dentist. He loves him some CMR. He's like, oh, I was listening to your show the other day. Turns out a lot of these highfalutin people love them some sauce and some cold hard truth as well. So they're tuned in here 8 years later also, right? So the platform might have something for everybody. And that's why I love about the expansion into CMR TV, because we're going to have shows that run the gamut. But once again, if this isn't your cup of tea, I'm not forcing you to be on this platform. I'm not forcing you to listen. Contrary to what Mario Rankin, word of mouth, says over on his platform, we can't force you. We're not going to beat you up. What do you say? People are listening out of fear. And yeah, that's because I know who's listening. I'm going to go beat you up if you're not listening. The idiocracy, is that the right word? Is just mind-boggling. People, you get to pick, choose, and refuse. That is your ultimate freedom of speech in this world that we live in. You don't like my road, you're not going to listen to my road. But y'all want to listen to my road and then complain about they was saying this and never saying that. Don't fucking listen. It's as simple as that. Okay? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, the rule is this, and it's a very specific rule. I don't normally censor people because I don't give two cahoots what you're saying and whatever. Some of y'all run to me complaining, well, this person said this and they hurt my feelings. I'm like, honey, chill. You see that block button? You can exercise it on a personal level. Somebody hurting your feelings, they sing something, whatever, just block them. Or you, the readers who got time to sit there reading all one of 250 comments, you can report them to Facebook. That's your prerogative. That's your right. And then Facebook is going to come back and say, yeah, we're not blocking them because they're not going against our community policy. And then y'all going to see the real world. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. And people are going to say things that you don't necessarily like. And you just keep it moving. You don't have to take it personal. Just keep it moving, okay? So listen, when it comes to this particular, and this is a very particular thing, I'm not getting back and forth with the Americans fighting, whatever y'all want to get in the comment section of your business. I'm not even reading it. I don't care. But what I'm going to say is when it comes to Caymanians versus Jamaicans, this is too much. Given our very close ties, family members, right? A lot of Caymanians historically came by way of Jamaica. Some of y'all don't want to admit it. My grandfather was from St. Elizabeth. When I did my 23andMe and my ancestry DNA, guess what? It says, part of you is down your soul in St. Elizabeth. Okay? Okay. And it is what it is. So I'm at least, that'd make me what, a quarter Jamaican? Okay. Now I have a daughter with a Jamaican man. All right. And I share a bed with him most nights, unless I'm traveling and he's not with me. And I'm not sharing it with anybody else. That's my husband. And that's his daughter, my daughter, our daughter. Although I tells her she a Caymanian, she knows she half Jamaican. And there'll be things about her Jamaican culture. Apparently she getting into pig foot soup. What the hell is chicken soup? Chicken foot soup? So there'll be things about her culture, Jamaican side of the family that she gonna pick up. Yes. I just keep her on the straight and narrow. And I teach her about my culture first and foremost, because I'm the mother and you know how that go. Okay. She loved playing Ludy with her daddy, because that's him. He loved a Ludy and whatever. I am not here to cause any division between anybody in this country, based on no nationality, skin color, or nothing else. And it really irks me to no end when we have to go there trying to pit. And like I said, the conversations will have nothing to do with Jamaicans or Caymanians. But y'all be up in your feelings. Okay? Because, Sandy called out a Jamaican, said Jamaican national. So what? If you read all the articles, if we know where the person's from, we can tell you where they're from, because we know y'all want to know those details. Honduran national, Filipino national. I don't see the Hondurans in the comment, well, thank God it's not somebody from Honduras. I don't see the Filipinos in the comment, well, thank God it wasn't a Pino this time. Y'all Jamaicans just taking it too far. And it's stupid and ridiculous. So you're going to get your backside blocked when we see those comments. And I'm not asking no questions. I'm not debating you. I'm not asking no questions. I'm just going to block you and keep it moving. Caller, good morning, honey child.
Good morning, honey child. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know what do these people. Be trying to get on my nerves.
Well, they get on mine too. So I do the same as you. Block and ignore.
Yep. This person says, kaboom yourself for blocking those troubled demons.
Thank you. Block the shit out of them. I had one come on my show at 9:30 yet. Yeah. The other day, complete saying, but I need a whole of what. I was like, what? I was like, listen, you can watch from now. Block. You can do that, people. You don't have to sit and listen to anything anyone have to say.
Exactly.
And anybody's platform, it don't matter who, yours, mine, I don't care. I get on mine and I race up Filipinos and Jamaicans. I got race one Filipino up on Tuesday, and I better tune in for that. We got porn stars working at the Lehman Scott High School, circulating their dirty videos. Tune in for that. Oh, she gonna get lit up if she not catch that Philippine flight by then. Anyway, and apparently she went married a Cayman and another idiot. Anyhow. What am I saying? But the point is, you and I had our differences years ago. And for a while, I didn't watch you, but I kept peeping in the dark. I kept peeping around the curtain. Yes, I kept peeping around. I like that topic today. She making sense. I'm going to listen to it. And I did that for a while, and I started growing back on you. I'm like, yeah, she is really saying the things that we need to hear out here in our community about the way we are not being treated right. You know, let me say this. Give me a second. Let me just explain something to you. Someone talked to me today about an elderly lady who passed away in West Bay, and she was 90 something. And she worked at the turtle farm for 40-something years.
Oh, wow.
And the later part of her life, how it was so hard, and everything that when I go to funerals and I hear all of the hardships that our people went through all their lives, it's really downheartening. It is hard to listen to it because you think about it, and then they died in that hardship as well. Where is our government coming to the rescue of our people? Sandra, listen to me. You can go and investigate it and ask her for it. She not come out and denied it yet, but you can. We are paying mortgages for status holders right now. They should not be allowed to tap into the DFA for any mortgage payments whatsoever. I'm sorry, you got status? That's what you got, status. You don't get to tap into DFA. You don't get your dependents to get anything free from out of the country. X, Y, and Z. And that is the holy grail of what is actually depleting our entire public purse. Is the dependence. I be saying it. When you look at someone who came on a contract job to the government, and came down, brought wife, husband, and 5 children, they're all reaping the benefits of that public purse. While our people out here aren't getting it because the plethora of information every 3 months you have to give as a native citizen and everyone else, I guess, we suspect others aren't doing that. They're treating them differently. And that's why I'm saying these things now. When you submit every 3 months your renewal stuff to the Department of Financial Assistance, you got to go and get all this information all over again. Why is it that they don't have the access to the government police record, this, that, or the other for the government for you to provide proof? I mean, if every 3 months you got to tell them you're a Cayman by showing them a copy of your birth certificate, what I say about that department? You don't have a system properly in place to have that information loaded into a database that can be a read-only situation. Yeah, they're native, blah, they're Caymanian, blah, blah, they got it, they got status, blah, they got not, whatever. They don't have that. And these are the systems that break down in our country. And when they buried that lady the other day, a pauper, she was buried a pauper, Sandra. That hurt me to my core because every one of these funerals you go to, you hear the same situation. They grew up hard. They had, life was always hard for them. They never had it good. And everybody else can walk ashore and have a damn good life. You have a good day, girl. You have a good day. I'm glad I still like you. Actually, I love you. Take care of yourself.
Aw, Carrie, I appreciate that.
I still love you, you big head. Bye.
I tell people when Carrie start cussing me, I tell people don't pay that no mind. She'll come around again. She'll be fine. Some people wear their feelings very, so they're upset with you, then cuss you out. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Everybody's fine. Yeah, boy, because there was a time me and Carrie was going back and forth on each other. She was pissed off at me. And I was reminiscing when we were talking about Bamboo earlier. Somebody said, oh, yeah, I used to go to Bamboo all the time. Friday, Saturday nights, man, they had like the best food at Bamboo. Oh, my God. Their seaweed salad, like everything was just so good. And me and Carrie used to go there all the time. And I'm the one who ended the relationship with Carrie, poor thing. I know she was really upset about it. But Shaji was kind of treating me like I was her girlfriend. She got so upset. I'm like, look here now, don't be making people think me and you got nothing going on with no little kitty business now, Because y'all know I'm strictly dickly. I'm just saying. But she was really upset about it. But it's okay. Sometimes just being acquaintances is fine. I'm a really funny person. Y'all should know this. I am a funny person with my friendship list. I keep it very, very, very short. Intentionally so. Because I just can't take no stress and no headache. And I don't want to take no stress and no headache. Carrie calling me back now, boy. She gonna tell the cold hard truth according to Carrie.
Tell the cold hard truth?
Jim said, no, and boy, can she cuss you. When she ready.
Listen here, Sandra.
Yes, honey.
I wasn't in love with you or anything like that. I loved you, but I'm just
saying.
I cared about you
the way you were going on, the way you were going on social media.
You had the same powerful mode I had.
You would take that to different level, though. People are like,
I don't think so. I think you got that like, but I like Dick more about it. Trust me.
Listen, people are like, you and Carrie were lovers. So when I say who? I say I'm not into women.
That was never the case. Never had those feelings ever.
You were just very emotional. You were very emotional about it. I was like, girl.
I was just very drawn to you because you were very strong like me. You didn't give a fuck and I didn't give a fuck. And we were just laying it out like it had to be laid out on the table. People had to hear the cold hard truth, right?
Yep.
All right, sweetie. So just let you know, I'm a dick woman. I want my dick. I love my dick. Dicks are good and sweet and lovely. We're not a kid show right now. They're all in school. All right. Love you. Have a good day. Bye.
Lord Jesus. What a heat. That's what y'all get for listening to the cold hard truth in the mornings. Obviously here on a reset in friendship, says Mark. Why not? Yes, Andrea, you know what I'm talking about. Some of them lesbians be looking at me like, oh, I wonder. I'm like, don't wonder. Let's keep it straight. I will bat for you guys. I'm all about supporting you. You go out there and find your best girlfriend, but it ain't gonna be me. I'm just saying, not in that way. I'm your friend, but that's where we're gonna end. Anywho, yeah, because are you sure you're not a lesbian? I'm like, listen, I know you'd love for me to be, but I'm sure, I'm confident in who I am. And that's why I can be so accepting of other people, because I am confident in who I am, right? And not my business what you doing. Mm-hmm. All right. This person says, try and stop it. Kara talking about the national ID attempts to fix, but lots are pushing back. What Kara's talking about, I wouldn't say lots. There are some that are pushing back because they're gonna push back against probably anything, really. But yes, we got. Thank you so much for the person who mentioned that Albania story, because we're gonna put that up on our site. That's a good story. A minister, they said they're not gonna have to worry about no corruption and whatever. I'm just like, Lord have mercy. Eliminate corruption, says Albania's PM. Huh. I mean, let's see. It is an interesting concept. I mean, I'm here for it. I want to see how it's going to work. I mean, listen, one thing I know for sure, AI is not going to be embarrassing us by drunk texting media. How about that? AI not going to be out there assaulting women. Mm-hmm. Mickey Bush. AI not going to be fornicating and wasting our money with Milady. I'm just saying there's a lot of shit that AI not going to be doing. So that may be a good thing. All right, so listen, quickly, Charles Clifford is having a meeting this morning. It might be happening now as we speak at the Botanic Park with the staff after Patrick, what his name is, Thompson, had that meeting last week threatening staff. So of course, I'm sure I will hear the outcome of that meeting. And I know Mr. Clifford has quite a job ahead of him. And I have a lot of confidence in Charles Clifford that he will be able to go to the, as a new board chairman, he will be able to go in at CINAA, the Cayman Islands National Attraction Authority, and clean the shit up that's happening over there. And he is going to have to fire some people, Bobo. Bye, Patrick. Bye, John. See you later. Don't let the airline door hit you in the rear end. Toodaloo. You got to do what you got to do. On a serious note, like for real, there's too much of a mess going on there for either one of them to stay in their position, because they have been part and parcel of the problems. So it is what it is. So let me just see. Oh, yes. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning, honey child.
Lovely show, but sad news. Very sad.
Yes.
It is so sad. I just want to touch on the traffic problem briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Today starts the RCIPS second phase of Operation Clyro. I hope that the police have been watching the roadways after this weekend, because they really need to clamp down. They really need to get some roadblocks going and take some of these drivers who are doing the most on the roads off. People are speeding. We already know that. Driving drunk, DUIs. A week ago, I was coming home from my walk in the evening, and I was 5 seconds away from home. And coming in front of me was a Domino's pizza driver, and I got one of the brightest flashlights you can use with a zoom. And the driver was coming straight for me, and I had to jump off of the road. I called the police and I told them what happened. They went to Domino's. It was the first time I had a police officer say to me, I'm going to go to Domino's and warn these drivers. They went and they warned them. And I was shocked. But another thing is these e-bikes and e-scooters. They need to clamp down on them now, because they've come out a long time where they said that they're going to start clamping down if they go over 15 miles an hour by law. The road law is considered a vehicle. They need proper licenses, insurance, have to have proper helmets and lights, and follow all road rules and follow the flow of the traffic. They need to really clamp down on them and start figuring out who has a e-bike, a e-scooter that goes 15 miles an hour, start issuing some tickets to them, because they are going down the middle of the road, crazy, all hours of night, all hours of day, and they don't have any regard for what is coming in front of them or behind them. And I'm sad to say a lot more accidents will take place. So I hope this operation is going to have roadblocks in all districts. And it might be inconvenient for people, but the police service actually has to start policing properly in our district to cut down this. Another aggravating thing is all of these vehicles running around, these lowrider Honda pieces of junk, and all other vehicles riding around with all of these lights, blue, purple lights underneath their vehicles. They got blue and purple floodlights. All those stuff are not legal, and they're going down the roadways morning, noon, and night, blasting all of this vulgar raga music, yaga foolishness. They got to start stopping these vehicles, Sandra, checking them and their occupants, and issuing tickets, because it is making Cayman sound like a mad dance hall all hours the day and night, and all of this madness, needs to stop. People have to realize everyone has the right to traverse on a road, but if a pedestrian is doing it carefully and you have drivers that are not, then there is the problem. But we don't have proper policing in none of our districts, and I can only hope that this gets to the ears of the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Kurt Walton, that they need to start implementing roadblocks at certain time of days in every district to check the vehicles, check every vehicle coming in and going out of these districts, to weed out the cars that are unworthy, the people that are doing what they're not supposed to be doing, because until the police really put a step and clamp down on what is happening on our roadways, sadly, a lot more lives are going to be lost. And it can be prevented because we have all this technology. The police have all this technology, but I have not seen a roadblock coming into West Bay in years. There's never been one. I haven't seen one in West Bay.
They've been having them. You probably missing them, but they have been having them because
they consider West Bay Road up to where
no, man. They've been having some in West Bay proper.
Well, I haven't seen none in my area.
They have because
I hardly see police vehicles sometimes.
Yeah, because they have arrested a few people. But we do have another caller. Point taken. Okay. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. I just asking everyone to please slow down on the road because we have to all traverse it.
Thank you very much.
We all have to be careful. Thank you, Sandra.
Good morning, caller. Oops. Oh, I think I missed them. Hold on. Let's see. No, I mean some valid points, but the police be out there, man. No, man, they be out there.
You have been redirected to the...
Okay. Call back, Honey Jill. So yes, I mean, it'd be nice if y'all would just follow the road rules, whether police are out there or not. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Hi, dear. How are you?
I agree with this gentleman about the traffic.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah. What I can say is that, listen, all these revenue that government is talking about that we need, we can collect that from traffic with ease. NRA going around marking up these roads with yellow lines, no parking there and no parking there. That's waste of material. The traffic department need to be revitalized. They go around and they issue tickets. I remember once the police didn't have to see you to issue the ticket. Once you're in a no parking zone, it's put in a bag and it's taped on your windscreen. We can collect all the revenue we need. You understand? And as you talk about all these e-bikes, I remember when you had to go to licensing department, pay something like $15 and get a ticket for your bicycle. No, we are not a tax-paying jurisdiction. And I, as a taxpayer who own motor vehicle and is driving on the road and is paying for the road to be maintained, these persons who has these e-bikes and these bicycles, they need to start to contribute. And this is where we can get our revenue from. It is there. We just need to revitalize the traffic department and let them do what they used to do. I remember driving from town to Northside, and I would pass 5 police cars at various locations. Now you don't even see one. So Lot of revenue.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
traffic.
yes, I think there is, definitely some stuff that can be done, but at the end of the day, the drivers need to be ultimately responsible for their behavior.
That's right.
Thank you so much, my dear. I appreciate it. Okay, dear. Have a good one. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. It is a short week, I must tell you. Friday, I'm out of here until October. Going to take my couple's vacation because that's what we do at least once a year now. We try to get away with just the two of us. Parents, you need time, honey child, for you and your spouses where you can leave them chilling behind. Yeah. Because what can I say? You need a break. But yeah, I mean, listen. Oh my God. Strong Wilt says AI not going to take away none of Kay Manion's wives. Oh, I hope not. Lord, I hope not. The e-bikes are bikes in a subweight class. Yes, speed-wise, they're fast, not as fast. Roadblocks aren't going to stop nothing. There's no proper public transportation. Well, the e-bikes, I think, are a whole other situation. So that's a whole other situation. But yeah, I mean, what is this? No, Sandy, they don't, especially those people from overseas, white people. Don't what? I'm a little bit lost. Why doesn't the police ask for a budget increase? Child, they just got more money. They don't need more budget increase. Sometimes efficiency is the way to go, not asking for more money. Now you're beginning to sound like Juliana O'Connor Conley. Her solution is just throw money at everything. Throwing money at stuff is not necessarily the solution. It's efficiency. So she goes on to say increase of $2 million for CCTV cameras. Honey child, have you forgotten, Miss Ellard, the amount of money that we've already spent on CCTV cameras that didn't work? What they should do is whoever brokered that contract, they need to start holding these chief officers responsible. This is what they need to do now for spending government money and trashing and trashy systems that never delivered, don't work. Somebody should have had to pay for that. That company should have to replace every single CCTV camera in Cayman that did not work, wasn't recording, didn't live up to standards that they promised. Because remember now, they would have put in a bid for that and promised certain deliverables. And if you don't deliver, the government needs to start suing these companies for non-delivery. Not for nothing. But if they need a good lawyer, I could recommend one or two. I'm just saying. It's more about accountability than just throwing money at something. We're constantly throwing money at things and it doesn't solve the problem, because then when the outcomes are not there, there's nobody to answer to, okay, this was put out to public bid. What? No, Bobo. No, TD. That's not gonna work. Okay. That's where we're gonna wrap up today. And I tell you what, let me just see. Some of y'all sending me some footage. What's all this? What is this? Is somebody drunk? Oh. Is that a man or a woman? I can't quite figure out what's going on here. What's all of this? This looks salacious. So we'll be posting this on Facebook for y'all to have a extra special morning. Somebody said that would be the security center. I think Eric Bush was one of the owners at the time. I don't think he was an owner, but he was good friends with, I guess, the owners. So yes, regardless, I don't give two cahoots who it is. Someone should have had to answer for that. Government could make so much money from the daily traffic infractions. Okay, mamacita. All right, let me see here now. Somebody says, yes, I was going to ask you about Patrick. Crosses. Sandy, why don't you go on a board for the CCTV. No. It's not a good idea if I'm on any government boards, because I have to hold people accountable. I can't be on a board and hold people accountable, because one day the very board I'm on might need to be held accountable, and then I'm conflicted. So that's never a good idea. Jim says, good for you and hubby. Time away, always needed. Good for the mind, body, and soul. Yes, indeed. All right, folks, tomorrow we need to talk about Vincent Frederick and that hot mess over at National Housing Development Trust, or National Housing Development Trust, to see what's going on there, because that sounds like another procurement situation. Total wasting of government money. We have got to stop the wastage of money. Okay? When government hemorrhage money, it impacts us all. What this one is now? Cayman Dispatch Service. Oh, this is a story about a young man who fell down. Oh, is he still alive? I think I don't know if he had a heart attack or what happened. He went to the hospital. Oh, he's out of the hospital now. Okay. Maybe I'll send, okay, thanks for the update. I might have talked to y'all about this, but this is another one where they're blaming the Filipinos, saying, oh, the Filipinos were standing there and they didn't do nothing. They were just commenting. Listen, I want to encourage you all to stop making this about nationality. There are a lot of people who good and bad across the gamut. They're good Filipinos, they're bad Filipinos. They're good Jamaicans, they're bad Jamaicans. They're good Caymanians, they're bad Caymanians. Good Hondurans, good and bad, no matter where you go, okay? Some of them, because their population size is bigger, everything seems like a hot mess. And the good stories got lost behind all of the negativity, all the negative stories. Oh, Lord Jesus. What can I say? Except, I want you guys to kind of relax yourselves a little bit along these lines. Otherwise, we're going to become like American. God knows nobody don't want to be like them. All right. So the rule is you come in the comments. I've instructed all of our team members. I'm going to play the video. I think I saved it here somewhere. I'm going to play the video in case you missed it. But it's very, very simple. All right. Oh, somebody wanted me to share this AI video. Hold on. They said this was made proudly with AI.
Good times, laughter, another round with friends. The night feels endless. But in one moment, one choice, everything can change.
Give me the keys.
I'm not giving you anything.
The wrong choice behind the wheel doesn't just end one life, it shatters many. But tonight, it doesn't have to. Make the choice that saves lives.
Here in the Cayman Islands, one bad choice behind the wheel can take a life.
Tonight, we chose safety, and we got home.
Tonight, make the right decision. Don't drink and drive. Get home safe.
Big shout out to Mark Cayman for making these videos. Some of them are humorous and some are very impactful, like this one. Good job, Mark. I really, really appreciate it. And Jim says, I'm sick and disgusted with the divisions and race baiting. And so, yes, I'm telling y'all that we're not going to tolerate it anymore. And if we see it, the only one that we've seen it between is Caymanians and Jamaicans. If we see it, I don't care who you are, you will be blocked from the platform. Okay. So do yourselves a favor. Don't do it. And then y'all will be just fine. If Sandy gone on the board, we wouldn't get no, you understand? That not gonna work. Government can make money from the inconsiderate drivers. Well, unfortunately, the inconsiderate drivers are potentially taking people's lives and causing more damage than government can make money. So it's like, inconsiderate drivers. Well, we didn't even know that technically even was an offense until the poor young man in the Larry and Linda fiasco. we saw them trumped up these charges against him. But, you know, y'all just need to do better. The police can't be everywhere at all times. I'm just saying. All right, folks, that's all we got. Please enjoy the rest of your Monday. Like I said, we've got a short week. The Minister of Education is supposed to be here on Thursday's show. So I think that's the only guest that we've got scheduled. And yeah, for the week. So we will have lots of open mic opportunity. Tomorrow, we'll talk about that fiasco with Vincent Frederick. We want to know what happened to our money and where has our money gone? And most importantly, is he going to be held accountable? This is always the question. Where is the accountability? I don't see it. And so that is a problem. All right. I will keep you guys updated on how things go. Again, have a blessed day, folks. I've got physio and a couple other things that I got to make it through tomorrow. So we will get there. All right. Yes. All right. Okay. Be good or be good at it. One of the two. See you guys. Hi, Miss Sherry Ann. See you guys tomorrow. And tune in at 5 o'clock today for Sabrina Speaks. Oh, let me just say this in case you missed it. What's the show called? Straight Talk is no more. So there's nothing for y'all to listen to anymore at 4:30 to 6:30. Except Sabrina Speaks is from 5 until 7. So tune into Sabrina Speaks, honey child. She got you covered. More of y'all will listen to her anyway. So the 5 that were over there listening to Fulio and Austin, come on over. And, you know, you've got some other options. So tune in and check out what Sabrina has going on. Okay. So they're done. That's it. Kaputs. After just a couple months, honey child. Mm-hmm. Don't say that my goat mouth had anything to do with it, but anywho, writing was on the wall after the second episode. Toodaloo.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.